on tower as well. So they knew that there were 3 heroes on poke that weren't going to join this team fight.
Look at this play bottom lane, Cactus. So they're going to be fast enough. They were starting to smoke bottom, but then they turned their attention back to top. So they'll be forced to TP down to try and keep TZY alive, but they're a little bit too late. So they'll get the kill onto the Mars, but Radiant, they're starting to move down. They've got the ultimate kisses.
Nothing to hold him in place, though, without that Mars.
Yeah, that's a concern. Kill was always ready with the Stampede. In fact, it's going to be ran through that will reset with the Moonlight. There is a sentry layered down in the lane, so Butterfly Effect, with the help of the Snapfire, is able to get the kill onto the Rubik. So that's that first kisses of the game.
Could be better, could be worse. I think it's just a little bit of nothing. But the big concern for mine is that you're letting this troll get way too far ahead. Like, he's a full, what is that now, 2 items ahead of the Ursa? So he's a lot closer to that Battle Fury than the Ursa is. And because of that, his net worth is going to grow exponentially faster than what Ursa's is.
And what a exceptional Battle Fury timing it's going to be for Lonfer. It's not a naked Battle Fury at all. You got the Wraith Band, Magic Sick, he's gone Phase Boots as well. So very early farming accelerant here for the Troll.
They don't even need the Troll to be part of the lineup as well for them to be able to push any sort of towers. You've got TZY going for that Meteor Hammer build. Of course, anything that lasts over 2.5 seconds, you're always going to be able to land the stun combination on it, but it's also great for pushing towers as well. So that's a big reason behind why they were able to take top and mid so easily.
Do we feel like Cactus want to continue to try and play aggressively here with kind of the 5 heroes that they have, or are you looking just to make as much space as possible for Summer?
I think I want to see them playing between mid and top, right? Wherever they feel is going to enable them to win a fight. Nice use of the Stampede there to get the Rubik away. They don't want to lose out on any individual hero to get the Rubik away.
Toss it in the middle, and now the Troll's actually going to look to get involved, but he's got to be cautious because early on, the control to hold him down inside the Battle Trance means that Lonfer can just get no damage out. So there's your top of the net worth hero trying to get active, but it's a hefty consequence to pay, and now Dire, they might even lose more heroes as well. Smoker K is going to be okay with Aaron and act as that deterrent.
I'm a little surprised that he didn't continue to go for that dive there. Butterfly Effect still had all of his fire remnants available, maybe just respecting the damage that the Tiny is able to output. But I mean, they had the kisses up in 5 seconds. He could have potentially held him into place. Instead, I guess just wanting to enable the Ursa to continue farming, and if one of them died, that would have not happened. I don't know. That's a big deal, the Troll Warlord going down there. I mean, he had a very, very big net worth lead. Obviously, that takes away a bunch of the unreliable gold. It's time not spent farming with the Battle Fury, so bit of a mistake coming there from Poke, and, well, they're going to look to go for another attempt here, but I'm not exactly... I guess he's got the Blink Dagger up on Killer, so that plus the arrow, plus the Rubik combination. He's stolen the Flesh Golem, so I'm sure he's going to be hunting for something else. But look at Jumi, great positioning around the ward.
He's got some members playing behind him as well with a Cookie. Can help reset his positioning, so the arrow is going to be off the mark. Now, Tiny did get his blink delivered, so they've got to be cautious about his location, but it just doesn't matter. Mortimer Kiss just rains down the damage required, and now with these 2 deaths, it might enable Cactus to look to try and get Roche.
I think it will indeed. Not quite level 10 on Snapfire, so it doesn't have the little shredder, but I mean, you've got an Ursa, and you also got no Flesh Golem on the Undying, but they're going to have plenty of damage to be able to take this one down. Dropping the Tombstone to help him out a little bit there.
Bottom lane, TZY is going to be in some trouble. Lonfer actually looking to use the Battle Trance. And
Right. Sure.
I was going to say, nice that Aaron stole Arena, and then, yeah, it drops to my bad. Unfortunately, it doesn't get too much out of it.
The prize is mine.
Aaron's normally used to fighting Titans within the walls, but not this time around. Sorry, that's an anime reference. I know you probably don't understand.
Yes, I zero idea what you said. But hey, at least some of the viewers might know. That's okay.
It's just one of the biggest animes currently. It's all right.
Yeah, my bad. Sorry. Guess I got to pick up my game. How dare I?
You do, really. Attack on Titan's a great anime, bro.
I'm not saying it's not. I'm nothing against it. I'm not saying it's not. Please don't come for me. Are you weebs out there? So it's a endearing weeb. It's okay. You guys are cool. No, they're not. What do you?
No, you just sound like a dad being like, I love your little hobby.
Yeah, it's a cool hobby, you know. You're just sitting by watching anime, eating food, playing games sometimes. I like the hobby, killer. I thought he jumped on the ember. Butterfly effect, still chilling.
Took a lot of damage from that Maelstrom though. The Fairy's Trinket's really doing work too.
It's only going to continue as well with the game that he's had. 2-0 and 8 for Butterfly Effect. 10 kill involvement out of the 13. And I had a BKB queued up. He's actually going to change his mind for the Kaya here on the Ember.
Don't hate it. I mean, well, Rubik looking to try and get the most use out of the...
They're here, though. TCY with his own counter arena. Or holding every single member into place, and now they can look to get the cleanup. The Troll's going to try and activate the Battle Trance. He can stand toe-to-toe, but as soon as it expires, there's going to be nowhere for him to run. As Butterfly Effect, he'll turn back for the juicier member onto Poke. Got to be cautious, though. Killer with the jump in.
Fuzzy was
There's just
coming.
no damage follow-up. Small KK is nowhere to be seen. They needed the Tiny for the cleanup, but without him there, it's going to be Cactus that comes out on top.
Yeah, Ares love interest, Butterfly Effect is really taking over this game. I mean, he is involved in 14 out of the 17 kills. I mean, this is why you pick the man one of his favorite heroes. So I was thinking the Kaya as well, like, going up against this Troll Warlord, if he locks in onto someone, you can look to go down, like, it's kind of crazy, but an E-Blade route, just to be like, all right, well, we're just going to pop Ghost Scepter on someone, and then what is the Troll Warlord going to do? Probably not, to be honest, but, you know, I'm just theory crafting. Oh, he's got it queued. Let's go.
Was he? Oh, no. Oh, I hate
Thought I was arrogant before.
KK. Back live at the bottom outpost. They're trying to set up here for the Tiny. TZY is going to be able to get the combo, but do they have the damage with just these two members? Some of the Dire supports are close to potentially protect Small KK. It looks like they're going to back off here from that attempt on Cactus, maybe needing an extra member to bring him down.
So talk about how I was right again?
No, never. Well, it doesn't need to be brought up a second time.
I agree, it probably doesn't. My ego couldn't handle it.
It only happens rarely, so we'll let it, we'll say congratulations at once, and then that's it.
We'll forget about it forever. I understand. Yes. I mean, it happens often enough, so we'll have another reason to congratulate me again soon.
Okay, that's not what I said, but that's okay. That's not what I said. You know, Summer's top of the net worth, Denog. This is it's going to be a bit of a concern.
I don't think he's died. Yeah, he's just the one death, so of course he hasn't died after that point. His team's been doing a great job of making space for him, as well as probably a few, I like to call them unforced errors, right, that Poke have made, especially around the Troll Warlord joining into fights that he probably didn't have to, you know? They haven't used the Stampede in combination with the Troll Warlord yet. I feel like he really needed to play a more selfish game, at least until he gets into that BKB for himself. And then once that happens, then he can look to join these fights.
Well, I don't think any fight will be joined pretty shortly here from Poke. With this Stampede on cooldown, it's going to be very difficult for them to try and protect this tier 2 tower. What a great ability. Overpower on Aaron. Gotta be cautious, man. TZY is ready.
They'll see that that's where the hammer's coming from, though. I wonder if they're going to go for like a Blink Stomp here.
TZY? It's super awkward now. Oh, Tombstone. Oh, okay. Killer jumps out to the left. He's going to try and TP, but...
Okay, bro.
Very ambitious TP. So, Centaur goes down. T2 tower is going to follow as well. And with that being said, Dire... They're farming out of the map. Small KK is working towards his BKB. He got Lonfer as well, very close to his last component being the recipe. So it's not the worst for Dire.
No, it's not. And I'm gonna go into bat for Killer on his Centaur there, right? Because by doing that, he A, gets damage in onto the tower. B, you know where all of Cactus are. C, they use the Mortimer's Kisses and the Arena and the Flesh Golem as well to be able to get that kill, right? So that's a lot of abilities that now you're not going to be able to use to get in onto Small KK and Lonfer. Yep. So it gives them a ton of space. Lonfer's nearly got his level 18. He's nearly got his BKB. So not the worst, especially considering you know that Roshan, which is the big thing that Cactus are playing for, it's not going to be up for at least 2 minutes. So you're going to have time to be able to get into this next item.
So are we wanting them to fight at the moment with everything on cooldown, or you're just avoiding fights, get those items, and then take a big team fight when Roche is up?
Get those items. Like, again, they haven't used those couple of things in combination yet, and that's really what they need.
You have to be a bit worried about this ward placement. Radiant, a lot of vision for them to work with across the map. They're even going to drop the Tombstone as well.
I don't know if that's
Easy
what
way
you
for
need
the
to be
arena back
Lonfer.
up. Lonfer is in some trouble. The BKB does just get delivered, so he's got the protection now to work with his killer. He's going to turn off to the left side as well. They're going to try and target down with the Undying, but it will put Center in a compromised position. So 1-for-1 exchange, but the Troll, he goes down without even activating BKB, and now small KK, he's caught out in the river as well as Cactus. They didn't even need the Mortimer Kisses. Arena came back up at a perfect timing, and they'll find a 3-for-1 exchange in a beautiful location to take that fight with their ward advantage.
Yeah, I mean, a few things. Just once again, not using the Stampede together with a lot of these other abilities. This is why just avoids the arrow there. You also had the no ward up on the high ground, so you didn't exactly know when this this stun combination was coming for the Troll Warlord. Of course, you never want to pop the BKB too early, right? Otherwise, they're just going to be able to run away from you. But yeah, not able to pop the Battle Trance. He got chain stunned. It just doesn't feel like they're on the same page right now on Poke.
Which would you say is a bit of a concern, considering this is a team who's already stuck it out for a full tour, and then Cactus, I mean, this is a newly formed team.
I guess so. I mean, maybe it's just around their shot caller as opposed to their actual cohesion, right? Maybe it's a case of too many cooks in the kitchen where they're just like, everyone's saying something, and as a result of that, nothing happens. They're actually going to go for a smoke, but it's right before this creep wave hits the tower. So at least Lonfer's there to be able to pick it up and not make this movement too obvious, or they're going to be able to get that quick kill. That's really important, right before Roche.
They might get more as well. Snapfire looks to jump in to protect the Undying, but without a doubt, he was going to be killed off regardless. So double kill for Dive. Look to be able to transition this.
Relatively short death timers.
Butterfly effect. He's looking for a bit of a style play onto Ranfu, but be able to blow
Wasn't
him
in the
up.
pit at the time that Roshan respawned those, so neither team knows that it's up right now. Getting some very important vision down though is Ranfu. And they're actually looking to continue some pressure into this tier 2 tower. Really don't hate that, especially considering they'd used the glyph previously. So that's a tier 2 tower going down.
Okay.
One of them is going to move to take away the outpost, but again, really feels like top is the area that they want to be fighting right now.
They have any wards to place up top as well? Looks like Ranfu does have one at the moment. He's hopefully going to try and deward that Observer on the high ground as well. This is a vital ward for Radiant to play with this fight breaking out surely around the pit. And yeah, looks like Ranfu's going to get rid of it.
They didn't have any sentry of their own down, did they? No, but they obviously would have seen him walk up and place the obs. But Roche is up, and well, I was about to say the one with all the vision is Poke, but they actually got rid of the one that they had, and they know where their vision is as well. So TZY, as long as he's good with his pathing, he should know to step out beyond that tree. I think Butterfly Effect just did though, so they know they're in the region.
This is huge though. Summit just hit level 20 and he got Basher. So a gigantic spike in a pivotal team fight. We need a way to address the Ursa. Killer's going to try and jump, land the combo with the 4-star Summer. He's okay. He's on the other side of the pit. He can turn to beat onto Lonfer, but the damage isn't enough at the moment. Now with the Troll, he's starting to get the further stacks going. That's where the E-Blade's able to come into play, but it just sets up for the nuke. As the Ursa gets blown up, they're going to look to try and chain into another member. Lonfer doesn't get connected to the wall, and no, he'll
straight into the pit.
Yeah, why not? All right, you put me here. I'm happy to go for the Roche. Gonna be cautious,
no battle trance, though.
But the battle trance on cooldown with the Mortimer Kisses just burns him away. And now this should be the opening that Cactus have been waiting for. There's nothing that Butterfly Effect needs to be worried about. Just dancing from one member to the next. As all it is, Summer goes down, and Cactus, they'll reap the rewards of that second Roche.
I was really thinking like, oh man, what's small KK doing? He's really just sitting back for the longest time, but we saw exactly what we were talking about, right? Troll Warlord locks in onto the Ursa with the battle transfuse. E-Blade gets put out. Who's the hero that loves that the most? It's the Tiny. Avalanche toss combo onto the Ursa, takes him out of the fight, but by that point, they'd used everything. And yeah, Cactus able to pick the bones from the corpse.
And it feels like there's going to be more corpses as the game goes on as well now. 6-0 and 15 for Butterfly Effect. Again, continued to have a stellar performance and is going to be working into the BKB. I actually thought he was going to go Scepter. He did have it queued up, considering he actually bought the Ag Shard for himself, but wanting a little bit of a magic immunity considering all the spells that are being channeled from Poke. But
Gives over the shard to the Ursa as well.
lovely, lovely, lovely.
So you just have to tell the tale of this game. Again, Butterfly Effect, 21 out of 25 kills. Small KK, 4 out of 13. So
Wow.
This really isn't what you were expecting from the tiny mid laner. Like, you're playing this with a Centaur, with a Mirana. Heroes that you can set up these, like, unreliable stuns for off the back of your Blink Dagger, and he just hasn't been able to do it. Like, of course, yes, he was able to kill the Ursa in that previous fight, but that was all you got out of it.
And with the Centaur as well, off the back of the laning stage, we saw Killer maybe like 10 minutes in, he was second in net worth behind that Troll. Had a great start. This is just item progression has not continued so far. Bottom of the net worth out of all the cores, and
Who's he planning to have hitch a ride with him? The Troll? And just bring him around and battle trans? I don't know. I'm not sure I see the point of this. Unless it's like hitching a ride of someone that's stuck to a Mars wall and then you drag him away. I don't know.
yeah, because they have a decent amount of AoE damage. I mean, if Mortimer-Kisses is there, the Ember as well, but it will stop the Ursa from doing any damage to the person that is in the car.
Yeah, but
I don't think
know.
that's enough. I'm just, yeah, I don't think that warrants a 4200 item. Is TZY? Oh, they see Lonfer and, well, instant use of the BKB. He's just going to look to try and disengage. It will... the rest of the members, they've got to get out at Small KK. He just stuck around for a little bit too long. He, too, is in a position where he has to use his own BKB to look to escape. But TZY, he's actually able to clip him. Maybe that Godra Buxlo was enough, but the blink just escapes. Oh, my lord, that was so close. Meanwhile, for the right hand, Butterfly Effect. What's this man doing here? E-Blade to stop Lonfer from continuing to right-click. Butterfly Effect just is able to narrowly escape.
A just makes you do crazy things, man. And, you know, he was feeling
That is true.
unkillable. He's also got the BKB now picked up as well. I think he just sold his magic stick, so going to be able to go in even deep. You've still got 2 minutes left on that Aegis, and level 22.
Yeah. And what a ward to play with as well here from Radiant. This deep observer on the cliff down by Dire's triangle, and they should have an idea. Yeah, Aaron at least pings out one. You're probably going to put a sentry in a location that'll scout out the cliff and where he dropped the observer ward ping, so that looks like it doesn't even matter though. Tier 2 is going to go down. There'll be no contest.
Gonna throw that Meteor Hammer onto the high ground. Why not? If you're TZY and they just walk on away. They're still playing around so much of their own vision though, right? It's not like they necessarily need to be on this bottom side of the map. Aaron's trying to push it in just using the Fade Bolt for a little bit of that ghost push, but that creep wave is still much, much stronger. And well, wisely enough, Cactus, they're sticking together. There's no real reason for them to continue splitting up. This is their timing right now. This is where their lineup feels strongest.
What? I don't know how they knew Tiny was there, but Small KK again is going to have the BKB TP out. Obviously, they got a glimpse of this Tiny farming aggressively, and now they see Killer as well over their own triangle. So what can you... Blink on it, snap, and look to stampede out. So again, it seems like they're just in this position where they have to use their items and abilities defensively just to try and help them stall this game out.
So...
Ah, he got the choreo, okay.
From Lonfer, I really want to see him not buy this Basher. I want to see him go Nullifier right now, because it's going to get rid of that E-Blade, it's going to get rid of the Ghost Scepter that the Snapfire is going for, it's going to get rid of the Overpower that you've got to be able to play around with the Ursa, so you're much more capable of man fighting. I just feel like it's got so many facets to benefit this lineup, and well, Basher just seems like a bit of a last month's news, basically. Still gets it though.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
Moss out of tower, soon to be claimed. Summer. Got the refresher queued up as well here for the Ursa, so we're seeing he has been a little bit weak without BK being enraged sometimes, but Into that refresher orb is going to give him double protection. They're going to look to smoke, just a cross smoke play here from Cactus. They're going to look to sweep over to their own triangle.
Dire are scanning.
It's the first point of contact though. Lonfer inside the river. Don't. Oh.
Smoke didn't break, brothers. So they end up giving away their
And now
position a little
Spears
bit
on
there.
cooldown as well for TZY. He's going to be a bit cautious here. Lonfer's going to try and turn to hit him from the back. Unable to do so. Now Summer off to the left side. A huge kill onto the Tiny. Mars is at least able to get the arena down. It will be stolen from Eren, so it's going to be difficult for Radiant to enter inside the river, but Eren just tosses Summer into the middle. So I was like, all right, thank you. That's exactly where I want to be.
And they're going to look for more as well. You know, once again, the Tiny just not able to layer in the damage that he truly needs. He still needs to rely on that Daedalus to be up for himself. And honestly, when you're defending on the high ground, maybe it's time you look to consider the Aghanim Scepter at this point, right? He's got some crit with that Chrysalis coming through. I wonder if that's the route that he wants to go down. Well, Lonfer wasn't able to get usage out of the Basher in that fight. At least now he's going the Nullify. He's identified that they're kiting them around way too much. It's going to get rid of, what, 1, 2 Force Staffs, a Flame Guard, the Overpower,
And sweet.
the
And even
the Ghost
potentially
Scepter.
E-Bleed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot. There's a lot that it's going to be able to provide. Of course, Nullify was buffed up as well with the cost being reduced. I cannot remember. It was a decent chunk, right?
Like 450.
Yeah, which is, I mean, we see what Radiance is doing right now with everyone buying it. Everyone and their goddamn mothers. Does not matter who you are.
Oh, we got the Hitch a Ride, though. And something that I love in the recent change, now it gives you, it's now a 30-second cooldown instead of 45. That's always good. But also, it just gives you the Stampede buff whenever you're using it for 8 seconds. So, quite useful. I don't know if it's going to be enough. I'm not really seeing a target. It's not like you've got a Shadow Fiend or a Drow or a Sniper or a Lina that you're able to just pop in there and you're able to stay attacking from range. Yes, Troll can do it, but Troll wants to be in melee range. He wants to be on top of you, getting those root procs, getting those bash procs.
Well, maybe we can see it in this fight as Killer. Look at the jump in on the Snapfire, great start, but look at just the discipline from Cactus. They see Snapfire gets jumped on, no way for them to protect him. They're just going to look to back on it. Let's chill out, not blow any more of our members.
Yeah, you'd hate to see that. But I wonder where they're going to go next with this, because, I mean, for me, it's all just about getting more of the map for you to be able to play around with for this Troll. He's going into the Silver Edge now. I'm really not seeing it. Like, he hasn't he
Tiny as
unqueued the
well.
Nullifier. Tiny, I don't hate as much because he's already got the Chrysalis picked up for himself. So if it's between a Daedalus and that, I'm like, yeah, okay, maybe. Maybe they're just really wanting to try and 100 to 0 somebody, but is that really what you want? I don't know.
Radiant are scanning.
To me, it just seems like they feel like then this is maybe a different way to address the Ursa in their books. Whether it's gonna be enough for Poke, I mean, we'll have to find out with his double Silver's Edge coming up shortly. But I mean, for Summer, he's just got a big item with Refresh. He will have some mana issues. I think you've got a Greaves at least on the Snapfire to maybe offset some of that, but
Some of that.
Dire are scanning.
not funny.
You said it.
Sorry, I'm so sorry.
You said it.
Diny? So okay, Kane's gonna get the jump, Killer with a great follow-up as well. Look the damage! Oh my lord, they just get blown
remember,
up.
someone
at
just
Summer.
bought out.
He's not down just yet, but look to turn it back around. TZY is gonna be able to land the combo that'll help Summer reposition off to the higher ground, and they're on full retreat. TZY though, can he escape? The damage continuing to be rained on down. Blink up in a couple of seconds though, and once again, Cactus, all they lose is one member. This time, it is a vital member in the Ember, and Roche is up as well. So Poke, finally, they're able to catch a break.
I mean, it's off the back of that Observer Ward, right? It revealed everything. They were able to move on forward. I believe, was that under the cover of the Shadow Blades that they were able to make that jump? I think it might have been, right? Especially on small KK. He just got a great stun that allowed them to combo together with the Mirana. And I mean, that's really what I was expecting this Tiny to do from, like, 12 minutes onwards. And well, it's taken them until 36, but what a time to do it right before that third Roshan.
I mean, that's huge. 3,000 net worth lead. I mean, off the back of this, they're probably going to be able to get the advantage with all the map they can farm, ages on the troll, cheese on the centaur. He's got refresher shot as well, and importantly, just a lot of the experience that gets split between the members on poke. You just got the
gotta be careful,
level 20
though.
talents. Actually, yeah, killer bottom lane. It's going to be some of that can start, and there's just way too much follow-up as well with the chain control.
Doesn't have
They are
buyback.
considering about maybe making an attempt.
I
Trying
don't
to
know,
cover
not
the Shadow
solo
Blade,
long
trying to
there.
scout out Summer. They do have a sentry though, so they will see him. Ooh, speed's going to be off the mark. Cookie on over the top with an instant reaction out of Lonfer with a BKB. It's going to be no follow-up response as Cactus once again going to be forced to cut their losses.
Good quick connection coming through from the supports there to be able to back him up. Ooh. Even had the arcane rune still popped as well, so that battle trance not going to have the longest cooldown. They're just looking to make even further play. Small KK. Oh, he's going to get baited by a rune. Not quite, but again, they're in this.
Ooh. All right.
We've got a game.
I mean, the status, we definitely have a game. Incredibly even. A probability slightly favoring Cactus, 52% at the moment, but would you agree with that? 38 minutes in with what we're starting to see out of Poke, who do you feel kind of has the momentum right now?
I don't think either team has the momentum, to be honest. I think it's a crappy couple of fights that Cactus have taken. It might have rocked their confidence a little bit, but to me, it's just like, all right, well, they want to get Ursa into that level 25, and they want to make sure that they get the jump for a change. I think that's really been the thing that set these past few fights apart for Poke. They've been able to be the ones to set up. As long as you get the BKB off on the Ursa, like early, without losing the rest of your team around you, I think you're generally okay with things.
It's going to be a little bit more difficult for them to find that initiation though. They lost both the gems, and that's going to force the Undying to once again go into his own gem. So we got 3 gems out on the map. Ranfu's holding one, Aaron's got the other, and well, now with Yuumi picking that up, hopefully it's going to be able to help out a little bit with that vision advantage that they've been lacking through the past previous fights.
They're not wanting them to get into this next item though on Poke. They want to try and make a jump while they still can.
And they might get TZY. Look at his positioning, very aggressive, great reactions though. They're just a little bit too slow with that hoof stomp, but his high ground, a bit cautious though with the multi-shots out from the tower in combination here with the arena. It's a lot of damage being rained down from the Snapfire. They're gonna have a way to address it, so Poke, how can you protect the troll off the back of the respawn? Lonfer is going to stand strong. He's got the BKB to try and help disengage. A great use of the telekinesis as well as Summer is going to jump over the top. They'll just turn their attention to the supports. The easier targets will be ripped apart as Cactus. What an incredible defense from them. That was really all set up just from that one reaction out of TZY. He was able to blink away when Poke jumped the high ground, and then we just saw Cactus all of a sudden, all their members showed up instantly.
He was able to do that, but I kind of feel like that's off the back of Troll just walking up into the high ground, right? Like, he had vision that this was coming, so he had time to be able to react to it. I think this is very different if you perhaps lead with the Centaur instead, right? And you're able to get that. It was a blind stun, but it's something that I think you had to go for. Maybe you look to set up some high ground ward on the top side of the tower beforehand. But yeah, well, we see that just walking up into it allows him to back off, and it's really this arena that sets everything up, right? It prevents the escape, it prevents the effectiveness of the Stampede. Even if he was able to get it off, Centaur doesn't have a BKB, so he would have been locked in place as well, and they're losing heroes back to back.
And it's not been the first time, has it, that we've seen TZY be able to land a incredible arena, and he's very close to Refresher, so his team fight involvement is soon to be even more enabled with this big item.
Yeah, even just with that high ground defense, right? On the respawn, he knows that the Troll Wallet is going to be KB. He's not going to take the chance. So he didn't throw the spear right on that respawn. He made sure to save it, and that allowed them to clean up the Marana as well.
Oh, did they lose both gems on Dire? Surely not. There's no way they were holding 2.
I would hope not.
I see 1 on the Rubik's body.
Oh, yeah, if there's 2 on the ground. Yeah,
Well, because
there's one on Rubik,
there was
and there's
3 on
one
the map.
Yeah, and what's it still has 1? Ember.
Oh, oh no, there was 2 there.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Yeah, can't be doing that.
No. And that's been... Oh, they're leaving one. So Corey's coming for it.
Mission Impossible.
get
Rubik. Look at him go. Dun, 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 dun. There we go. He's laughing. He's like, all right, we'll take this network.
Take it. It's a small thing, but a big thing. Because again, you were mentioning the fights that have been successful for Poke. It's been off the back of their vision and them starting fights. So the fact that they're at least able to recover a gem is huge to help
Probably
that
the
out.
best place for them to start a fight as well, right? On their high ground, right in front of their tower. All of that true sight, of course, given from the tier 3 tower. And Butterfly Effect, he's almost level 25 as well. So he's going to have that refresher orb picked up soon. He's going to have that double slide of fist charge as well. So, I mean, we keep talking him up, but you haven't seen nothing yet. He's almost ready to reach his next form. About to go Super Saiyan, my man.
You know, his counterpart as well, like Small Kick is, I'm surprised at how much he's been able to keep up in net worth. You know, even with the Ember Spirit, he's got a Swift Blink. He now changed his mind into a Assault Cuirass, so continuing to avoid the Scepter for the Tiny.
I don't hate it. The AC's fine, right? It's going to enable that Troll Warlord to actually get effectiveness out of the aggressive jumps. Strong Dispel.
They got a glimpse of them.
Nice.
This is huge. The vision that they're able to find. They're going to see the Tiny running up over the high ground. Look at the chaos that Butterfly Effect is just putting out onto the map. And now Summer, they close their distance. An incredible arena from TZY, but the damage follow-up, it's not there at the moment. Dire, they're able to activate their BKBs and stand strong for the moment. Small KKs in with a combo onto 2, just assassinates the supports without a hesitation. But off to the right side, though, Butterfly Effect, he's looking for the cleanup, but he's out of mana. And now on fair, he's able to lock onto his target. Battle Trance activator, plenty of attack speed to melt apart the Ember Spirit without a hesitation. Butterfly Effect, he's back into this game. TZY is going to be able to land the combo. They need someone to provide the damage. Ursa's going to be able to jump into the middle, but can they catch up the killer? Another round of the Stampede to get back towards the high ground, but Butterfly Effect once again will follow them up. All the buybacks are coming up. Poke, can they turn this around deep inside their base?
Buybacks
or can Radiant look to reset as Summer is in trouble? Refreshes up in a couple seconds. If he can stay alive long enough, it might actually catch Dire off guard. There we go, Refresh activated. Now the use of the Enrage as well, as Summer's okay for the moment. Dire, they need to get something out of this. They invested way too many buybacks. Looks like all they'll get is the Snapfire in the tree line. Small KK's hunting, but a little bit too late to catch TZY off the back of the TP out.
Sheesh, that's a lot going on
everyone?
There. Let's have a quick look.
Who didn't buy back?
Tiny didn't buy back, Ursa didn't buy
What
back,
the
and
hell?
Undying and Mars. So six buybacks. That's still a lot, though. I really want to see a replay, if we can, of that arena where Troll Warlord gets caught, because he landed the Hitcher Ride and then it just stopped. Like, it went on cooldown. So I'm not sure exactly what happened. If the bounce from the arena stopped it, it's not exactly a combination that I'm used to seeing. So we'll see if we get a chance to have a look at it.
So where do you want the replay to start with a fight
All
like
right,
that?
no, this is fine. This is what I want. So they
Okay.
land the arena, Killer makes the blink onto the top side, and he hits Hitcher Ride there, and it just stops. I don't know what happens. I'm not sure if, you know, the bounce back from the wall stops it. I'm not sure if there wasn't any kind of taunt or anything. That tends to stop Hitcher Rides from happening. So, or like fears and taunts stop Hitcher Ride and things of that nature from happening. But I didn't really see any of that. So maybe the Mars bounce acts in the same sort of way.
That's the only thing that I really saw that makes me think like that's how it works. So
maybe they're just like, shit, this is what we bought it for and it doesn't even work, you know? So we'll
already Stampede
see.
versus Arena is not the greatest, and you go for a 4,200 gold item, and our Arena even counters out one a little bit as well. And this game, I mean, it was 7,000 net worth lead off the back of those buybacks. I have no idea, but now it's 2K. So I don't know.
There were 3 on each, I think, so it's fine.
Yeah, but after the fight, they were up 7K. We'll see, though. You know, they're going to look to smoke again from
Help
Cactus.
swing things back and forth, you know. They're going to use Lonfer as bait. Of course, he's got the level 25, so Battle Trance Strong Dispel.
He's going to show himself as well.
They're really looking to play around that Roche pit, but still
This is
1.5
huge ward.
minutes away. They're playing around the ward, yeah. And it seems to be like they're looking to try and perhaps make a few more aggressive moves, push out that top side of the map, make them have to defend even. On Poke would be good, but well, Poke, they're going to do the same with the mid lane. They're like, we know you won't want to leave your little sanctuary up on this top side, so let's make it as hard as possible for you to come into here.
Wouldn't hate to see them cut this next top wave.
Wouldn't hate to see him finish buying the... I don't know. I kind of feel like you're banking on winning the next fight, right? And what's going to enable you to do that is a swift blink on the Ursa, because you've still got no... No, wait, he does have buyback. My bad. I was looking at the career death timer and thinking that was buyback for some reason. Because like, if you're banking on winning the next fight, you're going to have the Aegis, right? To be able to play off the back of. So, you know, good for him. Good for him on saving that. Don't listen to me.
Okay. Cactus once again going to look to try and smoke up. There's an Arcane Rune inside the river. You know the Ember Spirit wants that.
There.
Butterfly effect just a little bit too late, but the Koro is going to scout them out as Summon's able to blink away, but TZY, he blinks in. But the Mars
double.
lands an incredible spear onto two. Now with the multiple kisses. Two heroes just blown away from the face of the earth. Now the Troll Warlord's in trouble as well as Summer stands toe-to-toe, 3 down. They're all diebacks.
Oh,
Small
as
KK
Roche
against the
respawns.
world, but what does he do, man? He's going to try and blow up the Mars, but TZY, instant pop of the BKB,
Bash.
small KK. Summer uses the refresher to activate the Abyssal Blade, making sure it wasn't still on cooldown. That's a 5-man wipe, and that's our first game with the 2-0 going towards the way of Cactus.
Woo. Comes down to a... which say was anticlimactic? I'd say a little bit, right? I was really waiting for this big Roshan fight, but they just ran into the meat grinder, and it was TZY that enabled it to happen, right? Great Arena catching onto 3, forces a defensive blink away, lands a 2-man stun. Of course, he's level 20 as well, so he's got that extra 0.8 seconds on the spear duration. Plenty of time for the Meteor Hammer to go off, and then it's just a matter of Ursa coming in and cleaning up the rest of it. Really nicely done by Cactus, taking advantage of all of those dieback timers and picking up that game 1 victory.
What a back and forth game 1 though we had. I mean, we saw Poke through the early game. Their lanes went a lot better than what we were expecting. Then we saw the Ember Spirit really started to take over the early game, and kind of to be expected considering Cactus put a lot of emphasis on rotating to secure the Ember's power rune. And throughout the end, I mean, Ember, he definitely paid that off in miles. 11, 2, and 23 from Butterfly Effect.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, how many kills did they have? They had 40. So he was involved in 34 out of 40. Quick maths, a lot of kills, a lot of percentage. But I don't know. The lack of nullifier, I don't like it. You know, I still am a huge advocate for this item. I think with what you were going up against, it was such a waste for them to not go for it. And it's not like they weren't thinking about it as well. Lonfair had that queued up, but he went for the Basher instead. He went for a Silver Edge even after that. And I think that was just a step too far.
Yeah, so we did see signs of life though for Poke, which was very encouraging considering how the early game was shaping up. I mean, well, the net worth got about to a little over 10,000. We saw it drop down off the back of a couple of really solid team fights from them. So it just felt like pretty much the mid game was a lot down to the shot calling and the placement that the fights were occurring. When Poke were the first ones initiating off the back of their vision advantage, the fights looked great for them.
Yeah. Who would you give the MVP to? I know you're going to say Butterfly Effect, but if it wasn't Butterfly Effect, who would you give it to?
I think TZY had a very good game on the Mars.
I agree.
I was quite impressed with his arena placements. Maybe there was a couple of fights where he got one person in the arena, but regardless, a majority of them were huge. I
think he only gave it up once. Like he used Bulwark every single time, so you were never able to get that great steal that Eren was looking for. He was landing multi-man stuns very frequently. He used the Meteor Hammer to make space around the map by taking those early towers, and we just saw in that last fight, right? Double spear into the Meteor Hammer, into all the damage that they had. For me, it was between Butterfly Effect and TZY.
I'm pretty happy with giving it to TZY. 1, 5, and 24. Doesn't matter about kind of the kill deaths with what the Mars was able to do inside the team fights. And that's a hero you asked for as well in the draft. You brought up the Underlord, you brought up the Tide, then you mentioned the Mars, and you said that was a China staple. And we saw how it was able to synergize with the lineup on Cactus. It's a staple for them. You got this Mars, you got this Snapfire, just a combo that has been tested ever since Snapfire was introduced into the competitive scene. And not only that, but we've spoken a lot about how it was able to really limit the effectiveness out of the center with being able to disengage with that Stampede and then, that Scepter as well. So, yeah,
it
I'm
forces
very impressed
something
with
always, right? The arena. It forces something to happen, and they don't exactly have the greatest defensive tools outside of that Stampede. Rubik Lift with the Shard, not going to do anything. You pop the BKB on the Troll or the Tiny, and then you're all in, right? But it's not like the team can continue to go all in. So you have to pop them to defend, and then suddenly it's like, well, okay, we can't do anything for the next 90 seconds. So yeah, I really liked it.
Yeah, and you don't necessarily care, right, if the Troll activates BKB and Battle Trance on the Mars. You've got Bulwark. Like, you're okay with jumping. If you trade Arena, maybe get an extra member and Troll uses those abilities, because as soon as BKB and Battle Trance is not available, your fight just crumbles. And this is really being the big issue with the hero for quite some time. You have to win the team fight in 8 seconds with those two key kind of items and abilities. If you don't do that, this hero just really struggles afterwards. You continue to get kited, so it doesn't matter in the end if the Mars is getting beaten down by the Troll Lord. But regardless, an incredible start to our second tour here for the boys on Cactus. A newly formed team as well, looking incredibly strong. Can they continue with this in our second game? We'll find out after the break. Oh, we're back here with some Division 2 action. Cactus up against Poke, and then it was a good start here for Cactus. I mean, of course, we've seen a couple of their members previously in the last tour for Division 2, and now with this newly formed roster, they're impressing me so far with their style. How are you feeling about these boys?
They performed to expectation for mine. Can I say that? I thought their lane against the Centaur would have gone better than it did, but other than that, they seemed all on the same page, which I like to see. They really enabled who I think is their star player in Butterfly Effect. So let's see if they can do it again, because consistently is oftentimes the thing that holds a lot of these Div 2 teams back.
Yeah, that's always the one thing in question, as we'll get ourselves underway pretty shortly here between these two teams. Are we expecting anything different in regards to the first phase, though, before we do get the draft done?
Not really. Like, I think, were these the same bans as last time? I know at least 3 of the 4 are. I'm not sure if the Nature's Prophet was removed phase 1 of the bans, but sorry if this is a bit of a spoiler, by the way. We're into the draft. But we're probably not going to see a Broodmother again. I would be really surprised if we see a Centaur in response to an Undying once more. So we'll have to wait and see.
We will indeed have to wait and see. So it's interesting, I suppose, with how we can see them look to address what they've done previously here for. I mean, it's just game one. You don't want to get too far ahead of yourselves. It's the first series overall for Poke. Just go back for a similar identity for them, and it looks like it's not too much different. The Rubik into the Beastmaster here at the 8th, so something that we saw. I know Liquid really like this opener. Saw Gaming do it a couple times as well with the Rubik Beastmaster. I think I even heard Quinn say that Liquid kind of stole their opener in some of their series. So Poke, it's nice. You pick the Beast at the 8th, you can look to then protect it. I guess you've already more than likely playing into your lane matchup though in the Shadow Fiend and the Train Protector.
Maybe. We know Butterfly Effect plays a good Shadow Fiend, though. So, could be mid. But I think they need to protect against it being a potential 1 as well. Although, you just go axes, right? On the Beastmaster, and then it's not too bad. You're going to cut down a lot of the trees that Treant's going to be able to play around with. You're against a high agi hero who will potentially have living armor, so you get rid of that aspect as well. So yeah, I feel like if that's the case, you just go the axes build and you'll be just fine. But yeah, you certainly have to take away some of the bigger threats in my eyes for the Beast. Do you get rid of Night Stalker? In my eyes, Night Stalker is still by far the #1 counter to Beastmaster, but a lot of pro players don't seem to agree with that, so we'll see.
5 seconds remaining.
Does it even have to be played as a 1? Because I do more than likely think this in tree safe lane.
Yep.
There is some flex, but do you feel like you can still put the Night Stalker as a 3 to counter the Beastmaster, or is it better in that 1?
It can be either. You certainly don't want to run a Night Stalker Treant lane. It feels like a little bit of a do-nothing lane, right? So, I don't know. Like, I think Cactus, they just run this as their preferred, like, comfort, as opposed to, like, Drow Treant or Drow Undying, which are, like, the lanes in this current meta, but Shadow Fiend Treant is totally fine too. So I think it's just what they prefer, and it leaves them with that tiny bit of flex. Of course, you have to remember that they have second pick, so they're going to be the ones that decide what their lanes are actually going to be. Do you play around this mid lane as being your win condition once again?
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Ending too, but do you know what the Englishified version of the position 4 on Cactus's name is?
No, but you're about to tell me, and it's about to be something good. I hope so.
Fish King. I love it.
Fish King.
Fish King. Give me that Fish King. Unfortunately, there's no fishy type of POS 4 heroes really out there, right? Maybe Lion
Slark
with
plus 4 is pretty dope. Hang on a second. Come on,
okay,
don't
well,
come on now.
Your 1K pubs don't count, all right?
What the hell?
We don't need any of that coming into Pro Dota, that's for sure. Maybe the Lion with the cosmetic, where you turn them into the fish instead, could work.
That's probably the best one you'll get. Definitely better than my Slark position 4 with just go get the Aga shot.
Maybe? Naga 4? She's kind of a fish.
I guess. I mean, is sirens fishes? I don't know. Sure, they swim. They're aquatic.
Let's 4. He's actually half fish. He's half like
No, he's
merman.
not.
Yes,
No,
he is.
is he?
He's human and merman. Yep.
I can't even.
Are
be
you
bothered
really
checking it out.
debating me on lore?
Yeah, I'm good. I don't want to. Let's see.
That's what I thought.
10 seconds.
Ooh, Longfair gets his Faceless Void. So they actually have a really high win rate with this. I think it's like 80% over 5 games. So even though they came in 5th or 6th place in the last tour, this was a hero that they were frequently winning on. So I'm glad to see that he's picked it up. It's pretty good combination together with the Phoenix in terms of damage. They need a little bit more to go into the Chronosphere for sure. But you can go for Manta style to be able to get rid of the overgrowth. You can use the Beastmaster Hawk to be able to scout out for a lot of these Chronospheres as well. So I really don't hate it.
I think their safe lane is a little bit vulnerable though. Like Phoenix is not the greatest laning 5, and Faceless Void definitely has a lot more tricky matchups. Is there like a?
I mean, they've picked the Snapfire as well, so it's like you can deal with the egg too, I guess. What do they go now? I mean, do they just Mars again?
I think it's banned. Yeah, it's banned.
Team
Second phase from Poke.
LC.
Okay. Well, you address the raw, which is nice. I look. I think if this is solely they just feel like they're going to win the lane off the back of this, I'm fine with that. I literally do not care because I really think Poke. I'm quite concerned about their off lane with the Beastmaster Rubik into the Shadowfiend Tree Protector. I think that can be a very volatile lane where if Shadowfiend Tree get a couple kills early, then Beastmaster's timing is going to be slowed down. And we know, like we just mentioned, like Faceless Void and Phoenix, they can have some difficulties in their lanes. So this could just be another game where early on Cactus have a very big advantage.
Could be. Now, the real question that I'm asking you is, I've been inspired by Snare. Who out of these 5 have the best drip?
Well, I can't see Fish King, and I can't really see TZY or...
Oh, he heard you. He's sitting up.
I don't... You're gonna call me a simp. I kind of like Butterfly Effects Jump.
I do too. I do too, all right? There's no need to try and... All right, and how about here? How about for Poke?
Well, not
sorry.
Ranfu, because he has a filthy Yankees jacket. So... Despicable.
I mean, Aaron's kind of got that K-pop look going.
Dire team pick.
Is that drip though?
Radiant team pick.
Wow, the man just completely
Oh.
disrespecting the drip. Sniper, okay. Don't hate it. I mean, the thing is, for Cactus right now, they only have the LC to frontline. No one else wants to frontline on this lineup. So I think they're basically saying, you need an initiator, and you need to essentially go on 2 different units, because this is a lineup that's effectively has 2 carries. Like Sniper into the Shadow Fiend, probably one of the best matchups, and I think they're banking on the fact that they can still run this into the SF and feel fine. So maybe now you run the SF in the safe lane, and you look to put, again, like who is it that goes forwards? Is it the Storm? Doesn't have a great time against the Sniper. Puck's banned. Venge?
What the hell?
It's a chrono save, but if you're playing it as a POS 1, are you really wanting to do that?
Whoa, 1 Venge?
Yeah. I mean, are you really wanting to run mid-Venge?
I thought they were going to like snap core or something when the Venge was picked.
Nah.
So
I don't think you can run that into the Sniper. I think you just run, like, because a lot of supports, like traditional supports, actually scale fairly well these days, right? Like, Rubik, we know, can infinitely scale because of what the other team has. Phoenix, great scaling percent. Venge scales quite well too, not just because of the swap, which is probably the worst of the displacement spells despite being her ultimate, but you get the second life, and with the Shadow Fiend buffing you up, you're going to have this this vengeance aura, right? Just to be able to give them more and more damage. So this is once again them just backing Butterfly Effect, and I like it. You know, if you've got a star on your team, do it. And they're going to be able to do it with more minus armor. They've already got Snapfire, Venge, Shadow Fiends that give minus armor. So despite the fact that you're going up against these two Agi cores, you can still look to do a decent amount of damage into them, although I'm expecting them to go on to the Beastmaster first every single time.
So this is it's a very interesting draft. I'm trying to. I like both drafts. I feel like my concerns are poke. Well,
do you like both drafts?
Your Legion's DC'd friends. There we go.
Yeah, there we go.
Right, so once again, we do have a quick pause before we get underway. Okay, I think poke. Their mid lane should go very well. Snapfire versus the Shadow Fiend, Sniper versus the Shadow Fiend. I think Sniper's going to have a great time. You pretty much win a lot of your matchups. I'm quite concerned about the other side lanes on how they're going to be able to shape up, and I think that's one thing that Cactus can look to use to their advantage, where you're going to play around grouping up early, this level 15 talent from the Shadow Fiend off the back of your one lane. You can just control the map against the greedy lineup that Dai have with the Snapfire, Beastmaster, and the Faceless Void core. So I think Cactus, I think they will win this game just off the back of winning the side lanes, and because Dai don't have a mid lane to be able to make plays to offset that. But I think if Poke somehow can get towards the mid game and they don't have a large deficit, I think they will win in the end because their lineup scales very well and they have good team fight. I do not think it's going to get there though. Yeah, and you've got great synergy, like two cores that have perfect use out of the Inner Beast. You love the attack speed on the Sniper and the Void, and the combo inside the
Chrono enables
Chrono is
you
great.
to right-click on Sniper, yeah.
So I don't think they're going to get there, though, because I really think the safe lane and the off lane from Cactus is very, very strong.
Yeah, I think mid's probably going to break even.
I like this a lot. Look at this. Radiant, their level 1 is incredibly strong, and they're going to look to use it to their advantage. Just kill up. In a hell of a lot of trouble. Unfortunately, it's going to be Fish King that finds first blood, but regardless, you're able to get that bounty.
Disrespect, man, and Aaron doesn't want any part of it. He's just like, I'm DC'd out of this game. You give up first blood, I'm going to go record another Smash K-pop hit.
So do you kind of agree with... Well, what do you think? What's kind of your thought process on the two drafts that we have at the moment?
Yeah, I mean, if it gets super late, I think Poke are going to win. I don't know if it's going to get to that stage. They've got good synergy, but it's all around the Chronosphere, right? Because in a similar way that they don't really have anyone to go first outside of the LC on Cactus, you need Chronosphere, really, to go first on Poke until you get like a Blink Dagger maybe on the Beastmaster. So it feels to me like Poke are playing a little... Sorry, the more I look at these drafts, they're very similar, aren't they? In terms of like...
Are they?
They have one person that can go, but they have decent reactionary tactics, is what I'm essentially saying, right? Like, you've got the swap to get yourself out of Chronosphere, but you've also got like the overgrowth to be able to stop some aggressive moves. And then on Poke's side, you might be able to get the jump with like a Blink Duel, but then you've got, you know, the Fiery Spirits and the Sun Ray to be able to survive that. You've got, you know, the Faceless Void who can potentially use the Chrono as that turnaround tool. More fighting around this mid lane. Another Observer Ward battle that just doesn't go either team's way.
Okay, I can see how you're saying there are very similar attributes between either side. Just see, for me, it all comes down to the lanes. That's just, if somehow Poke are able to win these lanes, then you're in a pretty solid position, but I do not think that's going to be the case.
I don't either. I think their lanes are set up for not a ton of success. I think they should be ahead based off of that, but I think it's really going to come down to team fights once again, right? Like similar to last game, it was pretty even for most of it until like those initiations started happening, and they're actually going to look to go on to Aaron once again. No Orb of Venom though on Jumi, looking to just build up that ring of protection, realizing that he doesn't really have those trees to be able to play around with, so he might be taking a little few right clicks here and there. Summer actually with 0 regen. Hopefully he's got a little bit coming out to him now. Yeah, just the one set of tangos. And I like the fact that Killer's gone that level 1 wild axes, right? A, you want to stay as far away as possible from the treant. B, you're going up against a couple of agi heroes, right? So they're always going to be able to give you some decent value where you're not worrying about that high armor. All that magic damage, really useful.
One kind of interesting thing is that Small KK started out with the Shrapnel. I know Thompson kind of likes to no Shrapnel build. We've seen Nisha as well go down that route early on. So Small KK just trying to secure his early couple of waves, 6 and 2 compared to the 8 and 0. So Butterfly Effect is off to a great start here for the Shadow Fiend.
I don't hate him going the Shrapnel to be able to begin with. He actually gets 2 points into it as well. Just because you're going up against a Shadow Fiend, he is a lane dominator, right? And he is going to shove that lane out, and Sniper notoriously has pretty terrible right-click damage, at least to begin the game with, right? You're really relying on those headshot procs to be able to get a lot of those last hits, so you got to make sure that the lane is somewhat pushed out towards the enemy side so that it can't be pushed back under your tower. He's doing a really good job, though. Like I think he just got 3 CS and a couple of denies in the SF's face, so Small KK doing real well.
I wonder if even more points in Shrapnel early on can help out with some of the early chronos. If you kind of max out your headshot and take aim, then you might be lacking a little bit of early damage to pumping. You could just use Shrapnel and then look to run away. But
I'm really not seeing the Faceless Void and the Sniper playing too much in tandem early on, right? I think you're going to need the at least level 7 on the Phoenix, I would say, before you're looking to get any sort of that stuff happening. It's really just playing around the Beastmaster as much as possible. I think that's where a few of these early rotations might start to happen. And it might even be on the back of the power runes, although Sniper, not exactly the greatest user of them when you compare it to like a Spirit Hero or a Tiny.
nor really is the Shadow Fiend, to be honest, as well, and especially maybe with how we see this draft set up. It looks like they're really trying to enable Butterfly Effect, so maybe he's going to play more for his own game instead of rotating like we saw previously with that Ember Spirit. Bottom lane, Yumi's in a lot of trouble. He's going to look to go to the north instead, but they won't find that last right click, so finally Poke going to be able to hit their board.
Killer's going to be a little careful here. He's dropping a little low on the old HP. Of course, going up against this Vengeful Spirit, every time he uses the Wave of Terror, it brings you down to 0 armor, so that Treant, if he's able to get those right clicks off, as he just attempted to, is going to really start to chunk down your HP. They're trying to get in onto Aaron here, and I'm sure that's what he's trying to say. Use the Wave of Terror onto this Rubik. He is squishy as hell. But that's just a little bit too late. Obviously, as Avenge, you don't exactly have the most Avenge Treant lane, especially the most reliable tools to be able to secure a lot of these range creeps or even the Beastmaster boss. So, sacrificing kill potential for creep secure Jumi.
Who's going to be able to get the kill first? Jumi trying to play around with that second point in the leech seed. Warfare 1-for-1 exchange. Summer, he's got plenty of one charges. Can Summer turn, surely? 2 points up of the Wave of Terror with the help of the minus Summer. Uses it a little bit too late to get that bonus damage with the right click. Regardless, Killer will be able to move on back.
He's got the Helm of Iron Will now, he's fine. The more important thing is that you killed that Treant Protector after he just TP'd out to that lane. So now you know you've got a 2v1 situation. You can see Aaron positioning himself very aggressively, looking to try and harass him out. And it means that Summer needs to back off entirely. Won't be able to stop Killer from getting this next wave right next to his tower. That's exactly where he wants it to be. So good priorities there from Pope. Really looked at this top lane much, have we?
Yeah. Just taking a look at Fish King and TZY trying to take the double small camp, I believe it was. Don't think it was a triple, so very nicely done. It's going to stop them from able to drag the wave back. It's already in a pretty decent position, and you know, Lonfez having a pretty good start as well, 23-6 compared to the 27-5 for TZY on top.
Again, it is another one of his comfort heroes, right? So you expect him to be able to get out of this lane in a fairly decent spot. TZY, he knows he doesn't need to go this big, like
Butterfly Effect. Well, they even glyphed the creep wave on Die to try and run through, but the Shrapnel wasn't in the greatest position to hold down the Shadow Fiend.
Love the raindrops as well on small KK. Just stops a lot of that harassment from coming through.
Has been killed.
I wonder if he's going to just get the 1 point into the assassinate as well on small KK. A lot of the times teams completely ignore it, but I feel like that mini stun is really effective, especially just the early point, right? To get that that kill threat on the board. 320 damage at level 6 is a lot.
Right. See what's happening though as soon as the support leaves this lane up top. TZY is able to start to bully out Lonfair. Meanwhile, bottom lane as well. Killer, he's in some trouble. Someone's already used the combo Killer. Be okay, especially with Aaron showing up as well, but does leave the side lanes a little bit vulnerable for a wave or two.
I mean, you're very happy leaving this Legion commander up here next to the Faceless Void. He doesn't have the Time Walk available for about 5 seconds, but time dilation going to push them away long enough. Do you go for this aggressive move, Lonfair? I think that's a little bit of an odd choice. I mean, you really want to leave this LC up here solo if you can. Get up into that level 6 ASAP, because you know that you're going to be able to secure some kills.
Will you need an extra support to rotate with the Jewel, or are they going to have enough damage between the Snapfire and the Legion Commander, maybe once Fish King gets an extra level?
I think they're going to have plenty, just because Faceless Void's going to be low enough by having to face up against this LC in the lane anyway. And, you know, if you go on to the Phoenix, very little armor, so...
On mid lane, Butterfly Effect, yeah. First rotation out of Aaron. Butterfly Effect, though, a defensive use of the Requiem's able to land a couple of raises afterwards that'll send small KK away. So, there's a very early level low up the Requiem.
Oh, will Fish King be able to bait round Fu into coming through here? Looks like
So they got the short raise. Meanwhile, bottom lane though, Venge gets solo killed by the Beastmaster, and back inside the river, Fish King, he's gonna go down as well. So now this bottom lane is completely open for Killer to get a decent chunk of damage onto the tower. That'll give him enough gold for the Helmet Dominator as well. So these lanes are going much better once again for Poke.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not really sure what the Snapfire was doing, making that sort of movement through. It wasn't a power rune that he needed to contest. You had SF just happily farming away at those neutral camps, and Legion Commander was very close to picking up the level 6. He actually went for the duel attempt onto the Faceless Void, but because Snap wasn't there, you didn't have that extra follow-up damage. I think, yeah, Snap LC is plenty.
Ooh, nice TP out. From the Rubik, meanwhile mid lane, small KK is getting a little bit of damage into the tower. They've got a great cliff ward as well that's able to scout out once again the support. Back-to-back games, we see them just looking to hold hands here with Butterfly Effect. It's leaving bottom a little bit vulnerable as Ranfu's going to look to rotate down. Killer's got the roar up again. Actually looks to use it onto Summer, wanting to hold the Venge into place to help enable them to get the kill onto the Treant Protector.
Absolutely no one wants to come up towards this top lane, though. They're really just saying, I think you got to let this one go against the LC. He is the one hero that you're really scared about at this stage of the game, just because of how he's able to break apart. He's gone a very single target focus game, maxing out the press the attack, getting a couple in the moment of courage. He doesn't need to go the overwhelming odds. He knew if they did that in lane, then Faceless Void would just time walk it off. Speaking of Void, gets a kill onto a Snapfire, who once again is just roaming perhaps a little bit too far. Fish King out of his depth.
He had a ward scouting up the Void farming, but didn't know that there was a cliff ward for Dire. Sniper was in a great position to be able to combine with the Void, so there wasn't even a Chronosphere needed to get the kill. So it's going to keep their jungle free, bottom lane, tower goes down as well, so this is great signs for Poke's early game. Killer might be in some trouble, but just...
They're just thinking, we don't have this damage.
So we've got to be looking at Jewel and first Mortimer Kisses, right, for Cactus?
Top lane. Sniper's here.
Here we go. All right, Chrono out, small KK. Level 8, they're going to need no one else. With the maxed out Shrapnel, TZY is going to try off the try and play off the back of the pressed attack, but that one is not enough. So great first use into the Chronosphere, and We just see what they're getting out of the map for Poke. I'm so surprised that they're getting away with this. You're getting kills up top, bottom lane, 3 heroes from Cactus. They're not even getting everything out of, putting all these resources down here. So Poke, with how they've started, they are so happy.
They really just have no playmakers outside of the Legion Commander for the first, like, let's say 18 minutes of the game, probably longer, right? Because the Venge, speaking of Venge, might be in a bit of trouble on this bottom side. Not just the Venge either.
Someone's going to try and TP out. Looks like he's actually going to be able to make it. A little bit of damage reduction, I believe, still there with the nether swaps. But it's him not farming. Bottom of the net worth out of the Venge. And Denog, I know we haven't seen this hero as a core in quite some time, but you are a non-factor without the Scepter.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Kind of similar to, in my opinion, the way a lot of teams play the Earthshaker. You got to give it farm. As a position 1, you're going to, but he certainly doesn't have enough. You need to play a really selfish game in this first little bit, and then play selfless once you've picked up that Aghanim's Scepter beyond that. But who then makes the plays, right? It really feels to me like TZY needs to be playing with this Snapfire a lot more than he currently is. And while he's just playing solo up here, he's going to be the consistent target of a lot of this aggression that's coming through from Poke.
TZY is going to go down. Maybe one fur. Will he actually go down? Phase Boots, he's pretty speedy and he's out. He's got the blink now getting delivered. A little bit low on the resources, but you need to start bringing some members up top to make some plays.
They're doing the right thing. They're making that movement up. Snapfire's level 6 as well. They go for a smoke. They know the Void and the Snapfire are here. Of course, you can only capture one. Let's see if their positioning is right on both of the supports. Look at exactly where they're playing. I'm really liking this from Aaron. He's probably going to die, but if it means that your cores aren't dying, I think you're very happy with that. Now you know you've got 50 seconds where they don't really have that damage to be able to get through one of these cores. With no Mortimer's Kisses as well for the next 110, it really just frees up a lot more space for you to farm. And that's exactly what Lonfair is going to do with this Midas.
Greed. End of the game here for Poke, but like you said, they have a great win rate when Lonfair is playing this Faceless Void, so he feels like he's going to be able to get away with the greed. Again, with the position they're in at the moment. Set up perfectly to do so. They're going to be able to chill for a little bit of time. At least with this top tower getting claimed, we see Summer is going to be able to take maybe a little bit more of the safer farm across the map. They're going to put Butterfly Effect down bottom. But for Dire, I know we did just mention that the Faceless Void picked up the Midas and they have more of a greedy lineup, but are there any plays we can expect out of them, or are they just truly going to be reactionary for a vast majority of this game?
I think, oh, stole the duel.
Yeah, I don't know. Top lane, Yumi as well is going to go down. Easy kill.
I think they're just going to be completely reactionary. Like, they know that if they get to the late game without bleeding too many kills, then they're going to be way ahead. The only way that I can see Cactus matching their aggression is if TZY just starts to really rack up those dual kills. And you know he wants to, right? You've gone this first item, Blink Dagger, not the Blade Mail, not anything else that's going to assist you with farming. So, does he have a smoke on him? No. Does Snapfire? No. So, I mean, really, they just need to try and bait them into coming for these aggressive plays, like picking up runes, not playing around their vision, and Poke, to their credit, they're not doing it. They're not taking the bait. And really want to see Fish King make his movement back up towards the LC. 5 seconds away from the Mortimer's Kisses. Duel's up. You got the Blink Dagger. You got to be playing together. And, I mean, he's playing around this top side, but no carry in their right mind is going to be playing around this lane when there's no tower for the teammates to be able to walk to. They're just playing around their vision instead. Good positioning by Ranfu. They'll just keep growing their lead if they let this happen.
Yeah, and they're actually going to collapse on mid. I think that smoke was under the Hawk vision. Killer's starting to reposition back towards the river. TZY wants to get the jump in, but there's the Mortimer Kisses coming down. With the Requiem of Souls as well, but the damage, it's enough. They don't get the duel victory, but they get some much needed kills.
God damn, Butterfly Effect, what a play. Just using the Requiem, nowhere near that because he knew what was coming. He knew that Time Walk Chronosphere was coming to be able to hold back the damage. They would have had enough to be able to defend that, but whew, man, just thinking 2 steps ahead. He's playing chess while the rest of us are playing checkers. You ever played checkers in your life?
I have played checkers in my life, yes. I honestly, I do understand you asking a question. I've not done a lot of things you have.
Uh-huh.
Freaking boomer. Okay.
I'm just
As soon as we
enlightened.
unite. Oh, that's no. Come on. You're not. You're so far from being enlightened. It's not even a joke at this point.
Bro, we're cast to the China region. Last time we went to Hot Pot, you were like, what is all of this crazy stuff? I've never done this in my life. And I'm like, bro, it's Hot Pot. Come on. It's not that complicated.
And dude, that pot was hot. I'm telling you. Parker ordered the spiciest thing I think is possible to have on the menu.
What, was it like a mild?
No, man, shut up. It wasn't mild. I'm not good with spice, but that was no, not okay. Would you ever have a?
No,
What are
I
they,
don't like
ghost chili
scorching
pepper?
my taste buds. No. Yeah, the Carolina Reaper peppers. No.
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
about
yeah.
that. But,
You're not about it, right? Not
yeah,
even
but
for
I
like
know
the
that.
memes? For a nice
No.
joke?
No. I
Making
like
your
being
friends
able to-
laugh?
You know I like eating things, and I'm not going to prevent my ability to do that for a joke.
Yeah, but okay. Well, one way to maybe tip you over the edge, we'll give you a big bowl of ice cream. The
It's not
best
enough.
ice
It's
cream.
not enough.
It's not enough.
It's
Are
also
you
what happens the
sure?
next day is the,
Okay.
the
Yes,
issue
the stuff
for
we
mine.
can't speak about.
Uh-huh.
Comes out the other way and it's no fun.
It's no fun. The reason we're talking about this is because there's nothing that's going to be happening for the next little bit in this game. I think Poke are going to be very happy with that if that's going to be the case. Building a Maelstrom, it's nothing groundbreaking on the Faceless Void, but it gives you pretty good value, right? You're going up against the Living Armor, you're going up against an Agi hero plus an LC that likes building into things like the Blade Mail, he's got the Phase Boots, so physical, not going to be as effective. And you've already got a Midas, and you've got the Inner Beast Aura to be able to play around with. So attack speed is no problemo on the Faceless Void either.
Yeah, they're
It's like
getting
they wanna
away with
make
the
a play
green
here.
We'll see if they want to react on Cactus. They have the Jewel and Mortimer Kisses up to play with.
They know they've got two heroes here, but they don't know about the Phoenix and the Faceless Void. It seems like they're not wanting to respond to it. I think, do they have... No, they've got a Hawk behind the tower. So despite the fact that they're committing 5 heroes to do this, it's not the worst, right? If you're able to take away the enemy's Ancient Camp, I think you're happy enough with that too.
I will say though, I'm kind of okay that Cactus aren't really forcing the issue right now because I think their huge spike is 15 on Butterfly Effect and Scepter on Summer, which is almost completed. Now, you don't have a big window considering how much farm Poke have been able to get early, and you cannot let them get Roche. This is what Cactus need. Like,
know
their
what's happening.
lineup is enabled by this first Aegis.
Oh, you got to get here, Butterfly Effect.
TZY,
whips
he's going to be the first one to start. Lonfair, though. Chrono 1 to 2. They got the Supernova to the north side as well. No one's going to be able to address the egg. And that is a team fight 1 for Poke, and now a Roche secured.
Oh, we were giving him big props there on the Legion Commander for TZY, but that blink just came up a bit short. He didn't get inside of the pit, he didn't reveal anyone, and he just got completely turned around upon. Great use of the Chronosphere as well by Lonfair. Not needing to catch the cause at the very start, right? It's more about just making sure that the Tree and Protector's locked down, that you're able to keep these others zoned away as well. And they get away with that Aegis, it's going to enable their greedy play even further. And now they can actually look to play around with the Drums of Endurance.
I see Summer.
Yeah,
Scepter has just been completed. It's a beautiful cookie onto 2. It's going to be able to enable the Mortimer Kisses to help secure a couple of kills onto the supports as well.
okay.
But... yeah.
He's nearly got the... He does have the Lincolns now as well on the Sniper. I was actually going to call that out before we started talking about Hot Pot. But it's a great item, this game, right? Really, the only initiation that you've got is swap or duel. And so what are you actually going to go on the LC to be able to counter this now? He's going to Halberd, but doesn't feel that amazing. Summer probably doesn't want to go a 4-staff on Venge unless he builds it into like a Dragon Lane's Hurricane Pike for some stats that are going to stay. Speaking of Summer, he's actually getting gone on a little bit here.
Oh, Aaron, long range telekinesis. Summer should end up going down. Spam the right click from Small KK from far. Meanwhile, mid lane though, the Jewel, they are on to Killer. No way. Oh, Killer's going to be able to run away. Butterfly effect control with the roar, and that was his first use of the BKB as well. They're coming. They're starting to move their attention over to mid. It's going to be Lonfer that starts, and Snapfire's going to be killed off. This is really not good signs at all. Danog, I was saying I think Poke have to be like even and maybe a couple thousand gold behind Cactus, but the fact that they're 5k ahead at 21 minutes in, is there a way back in for Cactus? Yeah, no bueno indeed.
It's rough for sure. I still really feel like they just cannot play unless they've got this Mortimer's Kisses in combination with the LC.
Nice counter initiation, but Summer might just be dead again. Swapped into the middle. TZY is going to try and play off the back of the Jewel. He's got the damage saying to himself, they've got to be careful about the Blade Mail. But Small KK is standing strong. He doesn't care at all. Still has his ages to work with. He might just... He'll turn to Fish King. What's stopping him? Small KK getting the damage going. Butterfly Effect's gonna try and enter to set up the Requiem, but the Chronosphere holds him down into place. And now Lonfer can look to get the cleanup onto the Snapfire as well. And I think it's safe to say that the strategy they were going for Cactus just did not work out this game.
No, definitely not. I mean, we haven't seen a single swap save for the Chronosphere. There's just the wrong targets being caught out every single time, and they have no one to be able to make plays around. They even dropped the Mortimer's Kisses there again, right? Like, sure, you're able to get a tiny bit more dual damage onto the LC, and you know, at least she was level 12 with the dual damage bonus talent, but it's a long time, 120, whatever it is, 100 seconds or so to be able to make plays with, and it just feels like Poke are going to be able to take away so much of your map and not enable you to farm.
Not only, like, we've spoken a lot about the cores and their greediness, but even the supports and what they can do as the game goes on here for Poke. And we saw how much involvement they were able to have in that previous team fight. Rubik stole Overgrowth to help kind of hold them down for a little bit of time. And even a fight that they don't even need the Supernova. I mean, it's just enough if Ramfu's got the goddamn Ag Shard. And there's still an incredible shard here for the Phoenix. He's gone for that Spell Amp, plus 6% here at the level 10. So, you know, he's going to be doing a decent amount of damage if he can get that Sunray off.
Look at Aaron as well. He's going into the Yules. Sorry, the scan connects from Poke, so they know exactly what's coming. So they're going to back off. The one weakness of their team is that they don't really have anyone to be that smoke breaker, right? Ramfu, you could probably say could, but he needs vision to be able to play around with for that purpose, so that he can dive away as soon as they get the glimpse of any kind of smokes. And, well, without that, they're just not going to take the chance. Instead, more of a smoke in response to a smoke that they know was happening.
Butterfly effect, they know no one's behind him as well.
Nice.
They've got great Hawk and Ward coverage. The telekinesis back into the Raw. Mechanism's going to repair some of the damage, but it is not enough here to keep him alive.
Still really fast movement, though. How did he know that? Did he see, like, the inner beast aura on the creeps or something?
Why the Shadow Fin was there?
Why he four-staffed back before the smoke broke?
Maybe? I mean, that's kind of next level if that's what he looked at. Regardless, it's... 12,000 here for Poke at 24 minutes in. Cause,
I'm wondering what even they wait for at this stage, right? Like, are you worried about them reaching onto anything? Like, it doesn't really feel like Cactus are close to any sort of power spike. Maybe level 12 on the snap. She's just about got it. Gives a little bit of extra damage with the Mortimer's Kisses, but again, it's honestly feels like... Oh, is he going to drop the chrono here just to stop snap? No. It feels a little bit more like the extra 10 seconds reduced to the cooldown does more than the damage increase. It just... You need to be more active around the map. That's my main concern right now for Cactus.
Oh, they're going to buy back and try and defend the tower as Summer. But Break the Lincolns gets the swap in. TZY looking for the jewel, but the Supernova might be able to protect the sniper. Butterfly effect able to look to enter. Over Ranfu. Egg's going to go off, and that'll enable them to turn the fight back around. As Poke, they're looking for the cleanup. Lonfer starting to make his way over as well. They're going to be cautious if they group up because the Chrono, it's ready to connect onto two. They'll turn all their attention over to Butterfly Effect. The Force Staff tries to get him out of danger, but it's not enough repositioning. DZY is doing a decent chunk of damage over the Legion Commander, but they'll look to kite him, and Aaron, with the finishing blow, will secure the team wipe. That is... What
I like the fact that they went for that move. What are we chuckling about?
Aaron jumped under the tier 4 towers and TP'd out.
Sure, why not? Yeah, I like the fact that they went for that play because they know that the Faceless Void was up top, so no real way for him to quickly connect to the rest of the team. But even 5v4, they weren't able to get the most out of that one, and then they just lingered for a little bit too long. Faceless Void was able to walk. I mean, have a look on the minimap, right? He's up top, farming this whole time. They get the jump. After this, it, of course, requires that buyback from the Treant Protector, but still quite some time until the Faceless Void was able to get down to this bottom lane, and, well, you probably couldn't have asked for too much of a better initiation, right? Onto the Sniper. Maybe if you could get him before they use the Force Staff back, it would have been even more ideal, but they still get the dual kill, they still get rid of the Sniper, but yeah, by this point, it's just taken too long, and, you know, Faceless Void, you can see here, is right next to the Ancient Camp, so very, very quickly able to influence this next little part of the fight. Venge even buying back so that his real guy goes back to where the illusion was. It's just an extra death on the board for him.
We kind of see what can happen, those back to live. Jewel, TZY actually in the river jeweled an illusion, and meanwhile they're able to chase down Fish King as well. So more sequence of events not paying off here for Cactus. We saw in that previous replay just what can happen though. If you get the jewel onto a target, Phoenix is just going to lay the Supernova down. And what do you do? You turn to, if you try and deal with the egg, then you're not going to get the jewel victory. And if you keep hitting the jewel target, then the egg's going to go off.
Yeah. It's
TZY.
kind of a no-win situation.
The Blade Mail almost did enough to kill Lonfer, but so at the time, okay to play with. Some of those going to run into Aaron around the high ground ward location. Aaron's okay for the moment with the stolen press attack. Yumi's going to look to jump on over though. So the Overgrowth is able to hold him down. They're able to secure the kill onto the Rubik. Summer is now in a position where he's forced to kind of fight, but maybe they're happy with fighting with Butterfly Effect, looking to show up. Force out the Supernova. They should be able to bring it down. Yeah, press the attack's able to dispel off the Fire Spirit, so a couple of supports going down here for Cactus. Sorry for Poke.
So what are they really waiting for on Poke? I mean, I want to wait and see what this Faceless Void chooses. This is a level 20 talent, right? Because, again, I feel like they've got everything that they could possibly want to be able to...
Killer?
Not... Yeah, it's a very aggressive place, whereas farming... I think they even see the Faceless Void farming up here, so yeah, they're instantly pinging him up. Again, though, do you have the lockdown for him? Without this duel available, I don't think they do.
Yeah, I was going to say, the only way they kill him, I think, is Shadowblade into Requiem.
Yeah. Okay, so
they see small KK.
Maybe.
Hang on, what's going on? Some crazy stuff's occurring at the moment. Cactus are a bit of a pep in their step. They built some momentum, playing pretty aggressive with the heroes dead on the side of Poke, but looks like they won't be able to put any more members in the grave.
Close to picking up the Silver Edge as well on Shadow Fiend, just about 300 gold away, so it's going to be a nice little bit of extra surprise factor as well as damage bonus. So Faceless Void, what I was really looking for is, does he go the time lock damage or does he go the attack speed during Chronosphere? I was thinking maybe because you've got the Beastmaster with the maxed out Inner Beast, with talented Inner Beast, and with well, they've already used all the drums charges on the Phoenix, but I'm assuming Boots of Bearing after that. Do you just go the time lock damage instead? Because you're probably not going to be attacking that much faster off the back of this, but I'm really thinking he needs that solo pick-off potential.
He's also currently under a ward on Lonfer, so he's got to be cautious, but he does have the boys playing behind him. Julie's at the ready here for TZY, but they don't want to run too far into the jungle without having that ward still to back them up. Maybe they'll go for small KK instead. They need a way to deal with the Lincolns, and that's where the Halbert's able to come into play, but Dire with the response. Supernova down to the south, but it's just not going to be enough. Sniper, he'll get blown up, and now for the rebuttal, though, is Lonfer trying to juke into the tree line to run into TZY, but it looks like the Legion won't be able to find a location to TP out. So Cactus again, another small skirmish going their way. They're starting to build up some small wins.
And they were able to do that without the Venge as well. Venge was just spending that whole time farming. He's actually going for the Hurricane Pike as well, kind of like what I was expecting to see from him. as a second Roche up as well. But yeah, it's going to give him as well another way to be able to break the Lincolns as well onto the sniper. So I'm really liking the way that they're itemizing here on Cactus. They're giving themselves a small chance.
Someone's looking for a swap target, and he'll find it onto Ranfu. Already used the dive, so the Phoenix is stuck inside the river. Someone's more than happy with sacrificing his life, but he might not even die as the duel's on. They've caught out the Faceless Void. Now Killer's in trouble as well as Butterfly Effect. Aggressive force dive up to the high ground. Aaron's going to be forced to stop his TP.
Now they
doesn't
can
want
Roche.
to feed away another life, but like you said, now they can Roche, and all of a sudden, Cactus, what are they doing, a poke? Well, this net worth lead is starting to crumble at a rapid rate.
I love that from Cactus. Like a lesser experienced team would have just said, you know what, let's just try and take Roshan. It's a 5v3, but they know that they're up against a Chronosphere and a Sunray, and you need to put your high priority heroes on the front lines, killing that Roshan. Probably the last place that you want to be against these heroes like a Faceless Void and the Phoenix is that Roche pit, this confined area. So what do instead? They find a quick pickoff. They use the vision that they had to be able to get in the Phoenix, to bait in the Faceless Void, and they didn't use the Legion Commander at all to be able to kill that Phoenix. Kept him hidden, and then used him to be able to get that all-important kill onto the Faceless Void, which then allows them to take the Roshan with no concerns at all. Really, really nicely done.
Yeah, Pulvol's Butterfly Effect up to the top of the net worth. Aegis and the Aghanim Shard now for the Shadow Fiend. And we see he's got that Arcane Blink queued up as well. And this is a item that will give you that just kill potential onto anyone. You can now, because the Legion Commander having 178 stolen damage, with Blade Mail, he probably solo kills the Void and the Sniper with the position is in, and then the Shadow Fiend, he can go for the other core. So I'm quite surprised, but it seems like we've got a ball game at 32 minutes in.
Absolutely. You've even got Jumi, who's gone the Aghanim Shard on the Tree of Protector, so it kind of forces them to go into like to pop that Manta style super early, right? Just to be able to break out of that route that it provides. Speaking of Jumi, he's gone on a little bit here, and looks like he'll probably be giving up his life, but are they waiting for anything? I guess the Arcane Blink is the big item that they're just trying to use this Aegis to be able to farm. And, well, considering they took the tier 2 tower up top, they're going to have a whole lot of extra real estate to be able to play around with.
But Poke, they want to make sure they can't continue to play out of the map. They've got this numbers advantage. They've got everything up and available as well, so it's going to be Lonfer that's leading the charge. They don't really have the greatest vision inside their own jungle, though, so it will not be easy to catch out Cactus, and it looks like they are aware of this attempt. Do it, TZY. Don't use the odds again. They might know you're there. Ooh. You see Small K here, mate. Oh, hang on. Lonfer? No way.
Oh, the ping right on him.
TZY, can he get the blink? Oh, no. Even going to use the Chrono as well from Lonfer. So much hate on the Legion Commander.
He just bought the Buckler, and he is 600 gold away from buyback. So, can you go for this attempt without it? I don't know if you can go for the high ground push without the Chronosphere available. I think it's still way too important to be able to take out both the Venge and the Shadow Fiend if you can.
You might be able to get all the tier 2 towers, though. Like, mid's down to half and top's getting shoved in. Lonfer's actually not going to continue to shove it out.
Just clearing out trees. Nicely done by Ranfu.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
At least there's one objective going the way of Poke. Should be able to get some vision down as well in the meantime.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
They're actually going to force it.
Okay, maybe just trying to force a glyph, perhaps?
Osama. Swap back onto Killer. This is a valuable target here with the Beastmaster. They're not going to have the damage at the moment. Killer is in trouble, still another swap. There we go. Finally, they'll put him into the grave.
Gets the roar
It's
off,
a bit of
though.
an ambitious use of the ultimate here from the Phoenix. Unfortunately, Snapfire is unable to bring it down. Some of the end, not the worst out of Ranfu. They'll deal with Summer's illusion as well, so the hold the base Venge might need to buy back, but Poke, they don't have the Beastmaster to help out with this push.
Yeah, it's so important to have that Beastmaster available, not just, of course, because of the Helm of the Overlord creep, but even just the Helm of the Overlord aura, the AC aura, the Inner Beast aura. It provides so much to their team fighting attempts, and I mean, even just the vision, of course, right? With the Hawk being able to provide a little bit of that
Ready to have a
information
great
for the
wall
high
on the
ground.
cliff, and TZY is going to get the jump, the jewel. It's onto the Rubik, but it doesn't matter because Butterfly Effect with the use of the Requiem holds Small KK into place, but great use of the mobility. Sniper actually still escapes in the end.
The old concussive grenade trick, very nicely done by him, of course. He's gone into the Satanic. I was actually kind of wondering why it had been quite some time until he went into that sort of item, prioritizing the Daedalus first instead. But obviously, Mask of Madness, it's not the game for it when you've got this Beastmaster helping you out. Satanic, though, going to make it so much more capable. You're not even worrying about the Blade Mail as much anymore, right? You just frees up Small KK to take this fight on its merits.
Yeah, I wonder, like, because it definitely seems like Legion is prioritizing him in a lot of these fights. So when you see Lincolns get popped, you probably should have enough time to... Oh, no.
What happened?
All on Fur used Chrono, and he saw... I didn't see the start of it. I think Butterfly Effect stole the invins and blinked away, and he was a little bit too late to hold him inside the Chrono.
All right.
So that is...
Decent little timing.
Ultimate. Yeah, I mean, with that being said...
Maybe you take a tier 1 bottom now? Well, Fairs.
Pretty good.
A little bit aggressively positioned. Really wants to finish up that BKB for himself.
He's going to run back towards a Train Protector as well. Or maybe it's TZY. Who does he want? Ooh. Blink's going to get cancelled. This is a pretty good start here for Poke. Without the Legion, get the opening, but Yuumi with the counter. Overgrowth holds them all into place, so Radiant's going to be able to reposition back to the high ground, but Small KK doesn't want to enable this Legion commander to escape. So in the end, 2 kills go on the way of Poke. Butterfly Effect will get that tier 1 tower and be able to TP out, though, down towards the bottom side.
So that's the power of lack of information, I guess you could say. They didn't know that the Satanic had just been picked up by Small KK. It was a great Blink Overgrowth onto 4 by the Train Protector, but he just pops that Satanic, gets the basic Dispel, and he's able to do the damage needed to be able to take out those 2 heroes.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
All right, well, after Cactus had started to build up a decent amount of momentum, they've stalled this one out back to a 9,000 net worth lead for them. Definitely close at one stage. Unfortunately for Cactus, they didn't get anything out of that age, as the full 5 minutes that Butterfly Effect was playing with that secondary life wasn't able to find a team fight to go their way. And now their high ground soon to be in trouble with the Legion not having buybacks. So he's down for 45 seconds.
It's going to need to be... I wonder if this Arcane Blink is actually going to grief them a little bit. Maybe not. It just depends on the positioning of the Shadow Fiend. I feel like this LC is so important to their ability to be able to take fights, as well as Overgrowth, and they don't have either for 50 seconds. So it's going to need to be Arcane Blink that does everything with a Requiem, right? It needs to be perfect on this, onto the Shadow Fiend. So I'm thinking maybe like Nether swap into Requiem, but then if you just pop a BKB on the Shadow Fiend, then that's on the Faceless Void, then it's wasted. So
look at the
what do you
ward from
do?
Aaron.
Oh,
See,
what a
Butterfly
ward.
Effect.
It's actually
How do you
so
stop
good,
this
man.
though on Dire? Butterfly Effect, there we go. There's the roar into the follow-up damage. Can he activate the BKB? The swap's just a little bit too late from Summer, and he doesn't have a buyback. Shadow Fiend down without this key component for 80 seconds, and Small KK can just start to rip them apart. A triple kill for the Sniper. This definitely 2 full sets. They might go for more as well, trying to force out some buybacks. They push incredibly fast with the Beastmaster.
I mean, I said they can't fight without the LC, but your true carry is a Shadow Fiend, so it's the same sort of situation. And really not wanting to use these buybacks either, even use the Mortimer's Kisses, right? So it's even more damage that they're lacking as a result of this. So yeah, I think it's going to be 2 sets for absolutely certain.
They still got the Chrono as well. Oh, all right, there we go. Chrono up the last second, but the Tier 4 towers will get the kill, but it doesn't matter. Legion goes down, and he still doesn't have a buyback. They'll lose the Venge Illusion as well, but he's able to buy back and rejoin, but these buybacks are giving them nothing. Still the base is going to go down, and still the Train Protector is going to be killed off.
I think they just needed to understand what they stood to lose as a result of this, right? Like, they were never going to win that team fight outright, and they might even just get the diebacks out of them. Well, Looks like that was just enough to be able to force a buyback out of the tree and protect us, so even more economical damage, and I wonder if that's what Aaron's tip and kill are about, but the real one that should be receiving the tips is Aaron. What a great observer ward placed behind that bottom tower on the tier 3s, enabling the quick jump onto the Shadow Fiend, knew exactly where he was moving, and wow, really just set up that entire 2 lanes to be able to go in their favor.
And now you've got some, I mean, net worth lead is blown wide open here for Poke, but also the experience. Lonfer's gone for the 20% backtrack with his 25 talent. The sniper is gone for that plus 100 attack range as well. So not only the gold favoring them, but also the experience.
And now you got the Boots of Bearing as well on the Phoenix. So attack damage, plenty of it. You got the AC aura, you've got the Inner Beast aura, you've got the Boots of Bearing, you've got damage amp through the Helm of the Overlord. Like, what more could you possibly want?
Yep. I mean, you definitely couldn't ask for more now with Aaron having a Wind Waker.
No.
Somehow he's gone into the item that really saves them all throughout the duel. Huge, huge item here to keep one of those cores alive.
It's got the telescope as well, so just giving the sniper even more range than he already has.
At least for Cactus, though, they will finally have their full 5-man. It feels like we haven't seen them fight with this 5-man for multiple minutes now. Some are trying to double 4-stuff in. Swap on a Renfu, but is there any damage for it? And there's not. And keep in mind, Summit bought back prior, so it's just the summons and the Sunray, and he's probably going to lose his illusion as well, so... Ooh.
I don't know about that one, Chief. This is night and day compared to game number 1, right? We were praising Cactus about their ability to play as a team, but kind of just feels like they're panicked at all stages and they don't know what's needed to take these proper team fights. Like, who do you run first?
It definitely just feels like this 5-man at this stage of the game is not where they want to be. And we spoke a lot about Poke at the later stages should be very, very confident. It just seems like if you go for this 5-man draft, it's got a small margin of error.
All right, so maybe they completely clump up together, and then they get Arcane Blink Requiem into an Overgrowth into Mortimer's Kisses, hitting 5 units, each of them.
They might not have their base for too much longer, as Butterfly Effect is not TPing back, and as a result of that, it's going to be Mega Creep, so...
Well, they go for a smoke, but...
Still the particles, I think. I mean, they're starting to ping it out. I see the Jewel off to the right side. They're able to get the faceless for it, but there's the Wind Waker. It'll keep them alive for the moment. They're going to be in with the Overgrowth. Butterfly Effect, it's not a big enough. I think he Manta dodged it. Lonfer now can look to time look under the tier 4 tower, but the Chrono's onto Tomb, and the G's are going to get dropped as Poke. What a performance from them. It definitely was a little bit rocky. The early game, again, looked incredible. There were moments of weakness for the lads on Dive, but regardless, they're going to be able to take this 42 minutes in.
This is why you give the man his faceless void. I want to see that replay again as well, because I saw the Manta. I thought it happened like too late though. You know, it was really weird, but well, we'll see. But it was certainly a really impressive performance coming through from Poke. Obviously, you never want to start out your first series of the DPC with a loss, so at least we're going to go to a game 3, and I'm really excited to see which team is going to be able to hold their nerve. And well, I think that both teams, they need to be prioritizing ways to be able to make plays, because I feel like that's where both times the teams have come unstuck. If you just put everything onto the shoulders of one player, one hero, it's never going to work because it's just way too predictable.
Yeah, I wonder what Cactus is going to look to do, how they're going to address Poke in this next game, because we saw first game, of course, was Centaur Rubik. The second game was Beastmaster Rubik. And they looked much more comfortable with the Beastmaster Rubik. Like, I wonder if you're...
It was a protected Beastmaster as well, remember that. Like, it was the last pick of the first phase, so they got bans to be able to protect it. And, you know, clearly it worked out exceptionally well. The Venge was way behind at the start of this game. Yeah,
it's definitely a left field strategy for Cactus, and we've said it multiple times that, like, if you do not hit your timing in stride, this is a 5-man that is going to have some difficulties with running into the Poke lineup.
Yeah, I think they had difficulties taking towers. They had difficulties starting fights. They had difficulties in the lane.
Oh, you have BKB. Okay, never mind.
Okay. Well, that helps too.
Yeah, that definitely helps you out stopping the damage. I thought maybe he clipped in and repaired it with the time walk, but no, you know, BKB is pretty good at stopping some of the magic damage as well. Regardless, though, let me take a look at Poke. What a performance for them. Small KK as well. He went 21, 2, and 8. So even the sniper pick had quite the performance for Poke.
Yeah, again, like, you can go greedy if the enemy team isn't going to do anything. And it really felt like that for the majority of the game, right? If LC and Snap weren't together, nothing happened. And you were able to get away with this dual core. The net worth lead just continued to grow more and more and more. And, I mean, Cactus nearly brought it back a couple of times, especially around that Roche pit, where they were able to get the duel onto the right targets. They were able to bait out the, it's still limited initiation that Poke had, but those were very brief shining lights for them.
We get to see definitely deserving. Small KK with the KDA and the performance that he had was a stable member for the lads on Poke. So this is going to set ourselves up perfectly for us going the distance here for our first series.
We're not giving it to Aaron. Kind of liked how Aaron played. He did die the most, but
you're a bit too late with trying.
I know, but like, I'm just loving the supports.
Of course, you're a sim for them. I understand, but no. If you're gonna try and sell his case, you got to do it a bit earlier than that. Because with what we saw from Small KK, definitely deserving. So, what we've seen game 1 where Cactus look incredible. Now we saw game 2 where Poke. Yes, there was some moments where it let it slip a little bit, but they pretty much held this game for a vast majority of it. Who do we feel like is favored without seeing the draft heading into game 3?
Can't call it. They're too close.
Can't call it. All right, that's just...
No, it's real. Like, okay, give me one previous series that Cactus have played together outside of the open qualifiers to be able to extrapolate from. That's right. Nothing.
I think. Okay. All right. Nothing. But I'm just gonna say Cactus. I just say a team. It's okay.
You're just a butterfly effect sip. I understand.
Okay, well, with Denog's going to avoid my question, I'll ask it again when the draft is done. How about that? When the draft is done,
fair.
I'll give you the question. We'll find out what we have in store for us after the break. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for our first series here of 202. We're going to be going the distance with Poke taking on Cactus. It's been a bit of a back and forth series. Of course, Cactus looked incredible in that first game. Poke had some moments of weakness in the second game. In the end, they're going to be able to take it, and now we get to see what we have in store for us for our third game, Danok.
We do indeed. I'm going to have to correct myself as well. I was saying that Cactus, their logo, is based off a Final Fantasy character, and it's similar to, I want to say it's Cactua. I might be completely wrong, but it's actually a Digimon instead from the first lot. Do you know about Digimon at all?
Not really, no.
You're missing out, bro. You're missing out. I grew up with this. What do you want me to say? Dragon Ball Z, Pokemon, Digimon. Those were the big three.
Would you like to explain it to us? What it is?
It's like Pokemon, but instead they're always like out and they're just like your little companion, and they digivolve into better versions of themselves, but then they go back to their like pet-sized version.
Is it a good version, this one, the Digimon? Like, is it a cool one? Is it cool, or is
it's
it kind
all
of a
right.
loser?
I mean, it's a big cactus with punching gloves, like boxing gloves. So, I mean, it's like special moves to spin around and all the spikes just go everywhere.
Wow, that sounds like an epic character. Surely they could have chosen a better one. Well, I mean, it looks cool. It looks cool. That's the main thing, right? Like, if you're going for
Wearing
looks...
the sombrero, the poncho.
Yeah, like, come on. What's wrong with that? Sombrero, poncho, you a little bit of fire coming out of your mouth as well. Honestly, I think it looks cool, but if you're not a good Digimon, then I don't know. What use are you then?
I think that's a pipe, not some fire.
Yeah, I think you're right, actually. Damn, dude's got a pipe as well. He's...
Yeah.
Wow.
We talk about drip check. Cactus's mascot wins the drip check.
Dad, he's drippy. That's what I aspire to be. That is what I aspire to be. Unfortunately, I will never look like that. But you know what? Yeah. Well,
what is it? Does it say I'm not damn good on Butterfly FX Jumper?
I don't know. I need him to move his right arm.
It said it for a second. It was like, I'm not something, and I want to say the last word's good.
10 seconds.
All right, well, screw the jumper. We'll take a look at what we've got set us up so far. Poke, Disrupt the Doom opener. Cactus with the Nature's Prophet, Clockwork, Undying. Well, definitely getting through a decent chunk of the draft here.
I mean, I do have to mention two of the heroes that were banned in the first phase of the draft in games 1 and 2, Disruptor and Nature's Prophet, as soon as they're available, snapped up. So both teams have been doing their homework. Of course, it means that something else isn't going to slip through. Ench never really was that big of a concern, but the Beastmaster really felt like Cactus doesn't want to have to play around with all that vision that provides. And I mean, we saw how important it was. Like, even in that very last fight, Summer was like swapping it back when he was essentially dead already. But I don't know. They just put so much emphasis onto it that I think they just would rather not have to worry about it at all.
10 seconds remaining.
So we're kind of back into a little bit more of the meta thing. You know, you tried something previously, it didn't work out for Cactus. Pick up some stable heroes. I mean, Clockwork Undying support, though, is a little bit awkward, though, I will say. I mean, sure, Undying is going to be able to secure that Nature's Prophet lane, because I think it more than likely is going to be your one. I know TZ Wife really likes the Primal Beast, but of course you got value out of the Clockwork as well.
You got Clock and Primal, against the Drow. Feels good.
Yeah.
Once the mid-game starts. Maybe not so much the lane, but maybe it's going to be a mid-Primal, you know?
Yeah,
mid-Primal with an Undying in the safe lane, with a Nature's Prophet, and then it's a Clock with some kind of ranged person against the Drow. Or a Darkseer. I think potentially Darkseer.
It's a pretty Darkseer into Doom, Surges, Burst Overgrowth and Glimpse is a bit awkward. But with your value about getting on top of the Drow and enabling the Primal Beast and the Clockwork, there's definitely value with it as well.
The Primal Beast especially. I mean, that was one of the first things that I did when it was released. I was like, hit up my buddies. I'm like, let's go party queue. I want to try this Darkseer plus Primal Beast combo. And it just melts everything underneath you.
Yeah, and we already see the Primal Beast can do that even without the Darkseer, so imagine putting that on top of it. So we'll see. It's definitely a hero that's starting to rise a little bit more in popularity. Still definitely feels like it's a specialty hero for people that are very, very comfortable on it.
Yep. But again, I would like anyone that likes to build Greaves and Lotus Orb, and I feel like Darkseer is one of those heroes. So I think you could definitely get away with it, but anything else along those lines could fit the bill. You're not necessarily as worried with a Nature's Prophet because you're going to get a BKB, so the silences isn't as a big a deal. Primal Beast as well, level 15. You've got the talent for the basic Dispel, so you're not worried about the overgrowth. Still have to worry about the Gust though, but again, BKB natural for the Primal Beast too.
Now, what do we kind of make of this Viper ban from Poke? Is there something that this is signaling that maybe they want to look to pick up?
Maybe they're thinking that this isn't going to be like they're just going to go for dives onto the Drow Ranger in lane, but I mean, I guess it is. No, it's not dual ranged. I'm not sure actually. I really feel like this is more likely to be a mid primal, to be honest. Just with like primal plus clockwork doesn't really feel all that scary to me. Like, you're just in a position where Drow's able to beat at you from range, and then you've got the Leech Seed as well, which is going to give insane value for the Treant Protector. So maybe they were just thinking that they're going to be going up against something in mid that wants to just stay there and take a lot of physical damage, which Viper and Ember Spirit are able to do. So I like the Puck ban coming through from Cactus. It really does feel like that's exactly what Poke were wanting to pick up for themselves. So now what can they do? They might even just be weighing up, like, can we Storm Spirit here? Because they need a playmaker. Again, it's the same sort of story. Timbersaw is a bit of a playmaker. We saw Nothing to Say play it pretty recently, and he actually got 0 points in reactive armor until, like, level 11, I think. He just was a full-on playmaker, dealing an insane amount of damage. It's great against 3 strength heroes, plus the trees that Nature's Prophet likes to play around. So I really don't hate this.
The value of OD maybe goes up a little bit, but I don't think it works pretty well with the lineup on Cactus, which is this issue now on can you pick a hero that addresses the Timber but also fits into the 4-man that you currently have.
I need stuns on their lineup. That's the big thing that they're lacking right now. What can they look to go in the off lane that stuns? Mars doesn't feel great.
Oh, you want an offlaner? I don't. Can you play Primal mid now into Timber?
Oh no, not really. But can you play Primal Clock in the lane as well?
Yeah, it's a great Timber pick.
Yeah, it's a really good one. So mid. I mean, Storm doesn't feel great.
Okay, so I think there might be some value. You could. I know you're asking for stuns on Cactus. You could even consider maybe going Zeus.
Yeah.
It's sure into Doom. Like, yes, the ultimate is great versus you.
OD, okay.
So it's a staple. Pretty much every mid laner in China love this. Butterfly Fact very, very comfortable on it. Addresses the Timber. You've got, of course, the pure damage inside the Arcane Orb to be able to help out. Versus Disruptor, it can be a bit weird as well. Your Astral's nice versus Glimpse, but then you can't really go Ag Shard because Ag Shard is nice versus Kinetic Static, but then it means that the Glimpse will actually still go through if you go down that Ag Shard route, so it's a bit back and forth. Versus Doom, it can be kind of nice as well if he looks to jump in and gets the ultimate out on someone. You kind of protect them for a little bit with the Astral, but then you're also very vulnerable because you need your spells. So I see the value with the Outward Devourer, but it's also like not the freest game for it.
I mean, it's a good game for it though, right? Like, I think Cactus just need to play the fights correctly. Like, OD needs to be the 4th person into every single fight, right? Like, it's going to be Clock or Primal first. Probably the Primal, just force out BKBs, then Clock to stop the retreat, then Nature's Prophet TPs in after a Wrath of Nature, and then the OD comes in to be able to pick things up so that you're not getting caught out by the Doom, you're not made instantly useless, you've got that save potential there for the Doom if it comes out. I kind of want to see Butterfly Effect buy an Aghanim Shard just so that you can, like, slightly reposition yourself, whoever is under the Doom, right? So that you're not just there as a sitting duck after the fact. So I'm interested to see how this one's going to work out, but I do quite like the OD pick to be able to round this one out, but it's still going to be a really good Timbersaw game. Let's see which one comes out on top.
That's the thing. Is it enough? Is the OD enough to sway you to favor Cactus?
Not to favor them, but I think it gives them a fighting chance. If again, it's a lot of ifs. If they play the fights correctly, if they give him space to farm, I think you're going to need to play a really sacrificial role in this Primal Beast this game. Like, you are the playmaker. Nature's Prophet and OD, they're going to be sitting back, they're going to be farming for a lot of this time. Of course, the NP can just look to take the safest farm inside of the Ancient Camp area and then Wrath of Nature TP. I really want to see him buy this early Aghanim Scepter on the NP just before a lot of these 4-stars come out, before BKBs are available as well, just to hold them in place so that you're getting really good value out of things like the Tombstone, out of the Trample on the Primal Beast, and then, of course, TP in and actually start right-clicking too.
Do you like Nature's Prophet's going Scepter if they're a 1, though? I feel like usually I see, like, if it's a 3, you go that Scepter out.
No, I think you can do it in both. I think it works
Sure. Okay.
in both environments.
What would your progression be for summer?
I'm just thinking, like, do you Scepter first or do you Maelstrom first?
Yep.
Because it has to be one of those first 2 items for mine. And then after that, BKB is going to come.
See what we have in store for us. Of course, go on the distance here. No surprise that both sides once again are looking to smoke out. This time, again, we've got a Treant Protector. Doesn't look like...
This is the exact same thing that happened last
Yeah.
game, right? Like, they came to protect the trees for Ranfu to be able to play around with. TZY, he's going to have a smoke pop, so he's going to back off. Ooh. Slowly making his move, just trying to clear out whatever trees that he can while trying to stay back towards safety.
30
Ooh,
seconds.
chopping back. There we go. All right. He's going to be feeling satisfied enough, I guess. They still haven't revealed anything, though, on Poke. So yeah, I think he's had enough. He's satisfied enough with that tree clearing action.
Again, another
What up?
very late ward place. I guess this time both sides are flipped on the opposite
The battle begins.
of the map. But we saw prior, like, Dire had that ward down on the high ground first, and then Radiant came and placed it. And then we got the D-ward. This time, actually, they weren't able to scare it out, so never mind. Doesn't really matter too much, as we've got 2 for 2 in regards to the bounties, and this time, no real fight. Both games, we've had some early kind of engagements, but besides, want to get themselves out to the lane as fast as they can.
I want to ask you, what do you think the prefix for all of the Cactus players' names is 1, not Cactus? What's that about?
I don't know. I don't know what it is. They're the best. They're going to come first. That's what it is. Number 1. You'd hate to lose.
You would.
Awesome. Very fun getting denied by a Treant Protector.
I mean, he's got it's a primal, so you're not, like, lacking in damage, but even then, you're still 25 behind this Treant.
And Unfur's not going to be playing with any tangos for a little bit of time. He is able to drag 2 creeps, so it's actually first blood. Picked up top, so, I mean, Aaron went for boots to try and play this early lane, just looking to go for the pulling shenanigans, but Jumi's already on the case, and Killer's also in some trouble now as well. Windlace are up against Windlace, and Jumi's got that movement speed advantage. As long as he can lock onto the Doom, maybe with that Scorched Earth now, he might be okay.
Just trying to pull the creeps. They don't want to lane into this if they can. Of course, that's the thing you want to avoid as an Undying, if possible. And I'm honestly a little surprised that the Disruptor got caught out there by the Undying. I know level 1 only has that 600 cast range on the Glimpse, but you should have still been able, with those boots, to be able to stay far enough away from the Undying. Just be a little careful. He's only got 160 HP to be able to play with here. I think Jumi needs to put a little bit less emphasis onto, the denies, the last hits, and just hit the tree, hit the Doom. Because I've seen Dooms just get way too out of control in the past few weeks, right? You just get an insane amount of farm, and it really feels like there's not too many counters to it at all.
And, well, Killer's is level 28 on the Doom, so he knows how to play the hero. He's very, very comfortable on it. Like you said, if you're able to get out of the lane, which can sometimes be the concern, to definitely into the Undying, as we're seeing him look to get involved onto Aaron. Nice use of the glimpse is going to send the Undying away. Even bottom lane's got a bunch of shenanigans going on as well. Ranfu already has that second level, but Fish King doesn't get the full pull, but it does kind of set up for a double wave down bottom.
So the thing that has me feeling a little bit more confident now towards Cactus's lineup is that this Timbersaw, he's got the 2 points reactive armor. So he's just going to be looking to do standard Timber things and just sit in a lane and look to pick up some of that farm. But you're going up against a lineup that's reasonably fast tempo, right? All TZY needs is level 7, gets the phase boots and the soul ring finished up, and then he's good to go. He's going to start running at you. And I feel like a Timbersaw that wants to sit back and farm rather than dish out damage is going to be not exactly what you need there.
I know you mentioned that Nothing to Say went, what, max, but you said he got reactive armor at like level 11, right?
11,
what was the item build from him as well in that game?
Think about like Kaya Sanj as one of his early-ish items. Like full damage. He was literally like doing 60% damage to a Nature's Prophet because you're playing it mid, right? You're still getting a ton of this farm. You're still getting a ton of levels. And then he just went around and killed everyone.
Yeah, it's a very interesting read that we're starting to get out of the Timbersaw. I think it's what we saw. I'm almost certain it was Whisper at the major, the Lima major, where it was kind of the South Americans that brought it back into popularity, where they were keeping the second point in reactive armor, more playing it in the off lane, but going for that damage route, whereas the Kaya and Scepter picked up maybe third, maybe even fourth item.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very interesting kind of play with him, because pretty much for a long time of Timbersaw's history, it's been like max reactive armor and just be like a beefy man. Sure, you're going to be able to deal a lot of damage, but we've never really seen just 2 points reactive. Regardless, so like we mentioned, OD should be able to have a pretty good time, and we're seeing that be the case here. The 22-9 compared to the 13-4. OD has a very good time against a majority of his mid matchups anyway, just with his able to play around with the Astral. Top lane though, a little bit of back and forth going on with the Tombstone getting laid down. Killer, he's got a decent amount of armor to play with. In fact, he's going to look to get aggressive onto Summer. Chain Lightning, bringing Summer down incredibly low with a glimpse as well. It's not going to be enough damage now, and Aaron, well, he's going to be the one that actually ends up going down, and even Fish King, he's made the rotation at top. Killer's not going to be done just yet. Gets one of the Couriers, wants a second. Unfortunately, won't be able to find Yumi's Courier before he gets sent packing.
It's unfortunate. Like, you're going to keep that Chain Lightning creep, which feels pretty nice in terms of the amount of damage that you're able to output, but Summer had the regen. He's just going to be perfectly fine here. TP's back to base, TP's back out to the lane. He's totally replenished. So I kind of feel like maybe that glimpse was a little bit too early. You had another second or two of the Scorched Earth to be able to take him out, and they just weren't able to take advantage of it. So I just want to reference this Nothing to Say Timbersaw game again. So at the 14-minute mark, he had a Kaya and Sanj. So he went bottle, Arcane Boots, Wand, Kaya Sanj. 16 minutes, he had a Blink Dagger. 20 minutes, he had an Aghanim Scepter, and the game ended in 21 minutes.
Yep.
So, like, this is what you're able to do as a Timbersaw, if it's a good Timbersaw game. And it is. It's a really good Timbersaw game, except for the OD. So I feel like you just want to avoid that OD as much as possible rather than sit in lane.
Which is a difficult thing, because the exception is arguably his biggest counter in the game.
Mm-hmm.
There's not many more over the OD, so I'm very intrigued to see how Small KK looks to itemize his game. Like, it's not the greatest BKB game, but maybe you're forced to against the OD. I'm very intrigued to see how he's going to look to play against it, but we see how he has to play very cautiously. The fact that Butterfly Effect has that level 6 already.
I mean, he's
Bottom
down
lane
to
as well.
412.
One fur might go down. TZY with a solo kill. Okay. I mean, that is huge out of the Primal Beast. We just saw prior that he was forced to hold that actually top lane. Killer and Aaron, a little bit of trouble at the moment. Disruptor, looks like he's going to be okay, and Killer's trying to get some damage back, but now mid lane as well. Small KK, they've already dropped the Sanities, not enough to get the kill onto the Timber, but that's where the Decay is able to come into play. So Cactus, what a start from them.
Yeah, they're doing this real well. Not even going into the Meteor Hammer build either on Butterfly Effect, realizing that, you know what, we've got a Nature's Prophet to be able to push towers. We've got a Primal Beast that could look to just slam out a lot of these creep waves very quickly. I am the Timbersaw counter, and that's what he's itemizing towards, which I really enjoy. You know, a Meteor Hammer's going to do nothing against that. Stats, maxing him out with the Null Talismans into the Witchblade, that's what's going to get the job done. And it kind of forces him to go into that that BKB that you were talking about as well, which that's not really what you want to do here as the Timber.
Yeah.
If you can get aggressive, then that's what you want, but it feels like they're just forcing him to go uber defensive.
And the fact that this tower has already taken so much damage and Butterfly Effect is not even considering about going for the hammer, so
Yeah.
they've got a great ward to play with as well. You see down to the south, kind of the cliff ward for Dire is going to make it very easy for them to bring multiple members. Well, at the moment, though, it's just Fish King in combination with Summer, mass amounts of damage. Somehow this Wrath of Nature is still stupid.
They should be able to get a D ward off, though. Like, Timbersaw got hit by that, so the cliff ward that was providing a lot of that vision to the right-hand side of the mid-tier 1 tower is going to get D-warded pretty quickly by Ranfu.
Oh, he's got to get the kill. It looks like he will. And they're going to ping out instantly with the ward onto the cliff. Doom is going to try and TP out himself. The Doom be a little bit too late to be able to prevent that. So you get the kill into Clockwork. You know, you were saying that Timber with the Wrath of Nature connecting knows there's a ward up on the higher ground, and well, the same for Cactus with the Clockwork getting kit once he was behind the tree. So should see shortly both sides be able to get some D-wards going.
Mm-hmm. 1 tower's gone, though. Summer, 100 gold away from that Maelstrom. Again, I don't hate him going this. It's just going to be that farm accelerant. But you've got a Primal Beast that's just shoving the wave out. He's completed the Soul Ring now. He's his level 7, so it really feels to me like he can look to start getting a lot more aggressive. I mean, Nature's Prophet, he's clearing the trees away, so you're not going to get any surprise TPs. And then, yeah, once this Soul Ring's completed, just keep charging in over and over again.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
It's got to be pretty scary, though, the fact that Cactus have already been able to open up the tier 1 mid, and they've just found a second down bottom. And you've already said this is a lineup that can just run at you, and we're seeing that at the moment with TZY. Pulverizes out, and now they've got Butterfly Effect nearby with the ultimate up and available. Killer needs to get involved, but he doesn't have a level in the Doom. So what are you going to do to slow down Butterfly Effect? It wasn't a lot of damage out of the Sanities. The Butterfly Effect, he'll shrug it off. At least Small KK gets a much needed kill. That was a streak as well on the Undying, so 301 gold and some much needed experience injected into the Timber.
But you see what happens all during that,
Yeah.
right? Like, it's everyone turned up to try and stop that from turning into an absolute disaster. Nature's Prophet continues to farm on the top side of the map. He's got his Maelstrom coming, and yeah, straight into the Aghanim Scepter after that point. So it's... While it sucks to give up that for the Undying, like the streak, it's still a support position 5 for the enemy position 1.
Oh, and that's not good as well. That ward you were mentioning prior, they dropped their own ward on the cliff, and Cactus get the D ward, and they still have their ward standing. So there's nothing that Poke can do down kind of towards that bottom outpost, which means they can really only play up top. And Pokes, they still haven't taken this tier 1 tower as well. So the map, it's going to continue to shrink.
Yeah, and I mean, Lonfair just tried running down towards the bottom side. Treant's like, nah, man, I've got it. They just had that de-watered as well, so it's not safe to go inside of the jungle. So Lonfair spent like the last 30, 40 seconds just running around, not actually getting any sort of effectiveness. He doesn't even feel safe to go inside of his ancient camp area. For good reasons, too. It's actually watered.
It's going to be maybe one place across the map, and that's why Cactus is going to try and move over the top with the smoke. Aaron should be able to TP out, but won't kill it. He's going to be chased down. This Doom's Midas is continuing to be delayed. He was so close to having enough gold.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Wasn't able to get the Devour off either. Recent-ish change, but it still goes, like, gives you the extra bonus if you're dead while it happens, so that would have been enough. Just little unfortunate things not going their way. And, I mean, again, really does feel like Small KK is playing this way too passively. He's back in the jungle now, he's not making space, and if you don't make space, you can't farm. I was watching a Yapsaw stream recently-ish, and he says the way to play Dota is farm to fight, and then fight to farm. That's all it is, and it's just a cycle going back and forth, and, well, they cannot farm because they cannot fight right now. That's the biggest issue that Poke is suffering from. Now they got the Witchblade as well on Butterfly Effect, so even more damage that they're able to output in this early stage. Don't know if I want to see him back here inside of the Ancient Camp, though. Yeah, I think that's Nature's Prophet's area to be able to play with. The rest of the map, take it. But Nature's Prophet, that's where he wants to be setting himself up.
Oh, we're going to see smoke actually from Poke.
I feel like Jumi's going to be in the perfect position to block it, though.
Seems like he is. Maybe baiting small KK. Jumi, surely not.
They might try and glimpse him back.
Yeah, but this is a kill just onto the Undying. 5 heroes that are 5 heroes for just an Undying kill.
And then Summer's like, all right, I'll go to the furthest position away, top side of the map, pushes out one wave, and then gets back to the jungle. So if anyone was to make a move, they're going to show on the creep wave, he's going to get more farm, and then once again, you've committed a lot of heroes for nothing to happen. So despite dying on the Undying, ironic, but the net worth is going to grow for Cactus.
What are we... I know Poke just made kind of their first real move with that smoke, but what are we hoping they do next? Because we still are yet to see the Doom from Killer. Is there a play that we can see coming out shortly from them?
It's got to be finding the OD. That's the only one that I'm really seeing here. So maybe it's a smoke from one of the supports to get some deep vision out to try and catch them when they're going for a little bit more of this greedy farm. But like, it's really hard to get that sort of stuff off because you can't path through the mid lane. You can't path like into these areas because there's still all the tier 1 towers standing.
And now another ward gets taken away as well. I was going to say maybe if they weren't going to smoke and drop a ward down deep, you could look to utilize the ward that was kind of by the small camp and the hard camp by Radiant's bottom tier 1 tower. But Jumi always on point once again, gets another D ward. So you're not going to be able to maybe catch out the Nature's Prophet farming there or the OD. So again,
and you just saw like where Drow and Doom were right there, right? Like they were standing in the same spot, and that is never what you want unless you're like prepping for a smoke gank or something. You need to try and split the map as much as possible, make the enemy team choose who you have to go for, and more importantly, pick up alternate methods of farm. But they're essentially fighting amongst themselves as to who gets the farm, and that's not a healthy way to play Dota. Not if you're trying to come back from a 4 or 5k deficit.
And that deficit could get larger pretty shortly with Cactus maybe considering about Roche, because they've got a great lineup to take it. You got Flesh Golem, yes, Tombstone's only level 1, but you've got an Outward Devour with maxed out Arcane Orb, and this guy can bring it down at an incredible rate. So do you feel like Cactus, do they need a pick-off just to make sure they secure Roche, or are they even strong enough at the moment just to walk inside the pit?
I think they can just walk in the pit, to be honest. They've got good vision to be able to protect the area that they're going to be coming from. No tier 1 tower top, no tier 1 tower mid, ward inside of the Ancient Camp area. So, yeah, I think they're in a position to be able to go for it if they were wanting to.
Yeah, Aaron's going to try and glimpse him back to land the Static Storm, but just wasn't able to get in range, and a little bit concerned now about the rotations coming up as Fishkin is actually able to scout out the Disruptor as Aaron was trying to find a location to TP out, but stop that one short as Butterfly Effect. Thank you very much, sir. I'll take that.
I mean, it's very important. It's going to get him closer towards that 4 stuff, so I don't hate Butterfly Effect taking that one. The big issue for mine is if you're going to go for that kill, again, this is a Timber Sword with 1 point Whirling Death, so you're not going to have enough damage to be able to kill this Nature's Prophet, and even just his item build, right? What's a Blade Mail going to do if he just doesn't attack you? So it's not this aggressive style. If he had a Kaya and maxed out Whirling Death instead, maybe Summer dies there. But if you're going to go for that sort of attempt, I feel like they needed Killer to be able to make that happen. But he's just not left this bottom side for about the past 2 minutes, it feels. He really wants that BKB. And, well, you got Ags now on NP. Nearly level 2 ultimate as well, so in an ideal world, he's going to look to try and pick that up before using the ulti. Still 15 seconds away, so should be able to do so. But yeah, really expecting Cactus to get a whole lot more aggressive very shortly, even only 200 gold away from TZY picking up his own BKB.
Yep. See, Radiant, they've got a decent Absorb ward that scouts out Jumi, so they should be able to get this D ward. And yeah, they're going to be able to get their own counter ward as well, so Make it a bit more difficult for Poke to defend the tower, but they're going to try and make the attempt. All 10 members of the game down bottom.
They're just waiting for these items to come out. Like a BKB on the Primal Beast.
Doomy. First point of contact. They're able to lay it down with the Tombstone. They'll turn to get the kill onto the Undying. A little bit committed to secure it as
Summers indeed.
Zero hesitation, but it's because he's got the backup as TZY will charge in the middle. Yes, they lay it down the Doom onto the Primal Beast, but there is just no follow-up because all the damage, it's on a Summer instead. So with the Nature's Prophet playing too aggressively, and well, he'll be penalized for that.
Yeah, also, there were just little things that went wrong in that fight, right? You had Fish King cogs off the TZY Primal Beast, so he wasn't actually able to trample around and create all of that havoc. Didn't even end up having to pop the first BKB because he wasn't their concern. It's the Nature's Prophet. Very big kill that they were able to pick up there, but that was the definition of an unforced error that they had. Ooh, able to just get away. He was mid-cast to that Astral.
Dire's structures are fortified.
So maybe with Overgrowth and Doom and lesser extent Static Storm being used, they might
Dire's
look to go into that Roche pit.
attack.
Oh,
Well, some of those still trying to TP him with the Gust. It's not going to be enough. It doesn't matter. T2 Tower, who cares? TZY even going to get the Pulverize down onto the Treant Protector as well. They've really late to funnel in from Poke, and as a result, both their members are going to go down without a response.
all right, now they can rush. They just wanted the free kill. I suppose Drow walking underneath the Observer Ward just gives you the opportunity for a freebie, and you feel a lot less guilty taking this if the Drow is not also getting farm at the exact same time. Small KK having to find farm wherever he can inside of the Dire side of the map. Someone needs to go and hit that top tier 1 tower. It's got 90 health. Like, that has to die somehow, just to open up the map, even the tiniest bit, for a Timbersaw to take, for example. He's got the Sange. No Kaya, though, so it's still a bit of a damage issue. So it feels to me like level 15 on Timber is what he's hoping for. That spell amplification, that maxed out Whirling Death, Kaya Sange completed. But by that point, everyone's going to have BKB, probably. You're going to have a lot more survivability. You're going to have a Greaves even up potentially on Jumi. And I'm not sure if that's going to be enough. Really felt like that team fight loss that Cactus had was off the back of one of their own mistakes. It wasn't really anything
they're going
that
to
Poke did.
try. Let's see, great positioning out of the supports, but the Static Storm's even better. Both of them getting silenced for the moment, so Doom, he's going to be cautious, or he can even get the ultimate off before he dies as TZY targets him down with ease, and now he can look to turn to the Dry Ranger as well, as meanwhile, Small KK, well, he'll get killed off the Butterfly effect. He doesn't even need to use the Senator Eclipse, as now Cactus, they're looking for the cleanup that they know there's just nowhere Lonfer can run away to. Still with the Aegis, they haven't been able to get that kill just yet. And with Lonfer, you might be able to TP out TZY. Both the abilities just on cooldown, a couple of seconds for the Pulverize and the Onslaught, but in the end, it is a 2 for 3 for Cactus, and they're still able to get that tier 2 tower top.
Timber nearly was able to get rid of that Aegis completely on his own, but again, very, very slightly lacking in damage. And, well, don't want to be a broken record, but maybe that Kaya would have helped him a little bit. You never know. It really does feel like that. Not losing your last 2 tier 2 towers is going to be incredibly important. Like, you've already lost tier 1 top. It happens. And then getting into this Blink Dagger on the Doom and into the level 15 on the Timbersaw with a Kaya Sarge. That's their last opportunity, in my opinion. Probably by that point as well, the Aegis will have expired as well. So they got to kill this OD. It's the target to kill, right? They don't exactly have the greatest save. There's no 4-stars. All they've got is a mech and level 1 Soul Rib.
And your chase potential is, well, I should say the kiting on die is not the greatest, as we might see it actually come into play. They're just going to start. Butterfly Effect has no hesitation with jumping on the high gun. be able to force himself down. Simultaneously, though, Killer's going to be able to find a Doom opening. So they'll turn their attention over to the Primal Beast. Meanwhile, OD, first life taken care of, but it's not going to matter. Drow gets chased down thanks to Summer looking at TP into the middle. Now he's got the Wrath and Nature soon to bounce as well, so the Entangle will hold them in their place. The Treant Protector, he's going to be killed off, and Small KK will soon join him in the afterlife as Cactus. Another incredible fight for them as Butterfly Effect continuing to reign supreme.
Yeah. They just fought into an Aegis. I don't know what to say. You know, it really feels like the biggest point to take from that is that they just took a fight that they didn't need to. And, you know, they lost 2 heroes, sure, but that was a Doom that had to be used onto the Primal Beast. He wasn't able to pop the BKB. And Tombstone is such a great item to pair together, ability to pair together with this Nature's Prophet as well. With all the zombies patrolling around, you're going to have vision on everyone. It means that that Wrath of Nature is going to connect onto absolutely everyone and get the cleanup that you need.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
It's just going to come flying on through and, yeah, kill after kill after kill.
And as a result of those kills and towers going the way of Cactus, it's now a 11,000 net worth lead. They're probably just going to get ready to gear up and go again for this last outer tower down bottom. You've got a great ward kind of behind the tier 2.
You got to let the tower go, and you got to wait for the high ground push, and you need Doom available. I feel like if they had Doom right now, they could have potentially gone for the play, but I mean, they're still going to try and do it.
Radiant's bottom
How are you going to lock down this OD? That's my big question. Does OD have BKB? Okay, not yet. It's just a couple of portions. So if you're able to loop around onto the back lines and catch out OD, get the Infernal Blade onto him.
It's a nice
Get
wrap.
the silences. Yeah, it's a really nice wrap.
tower is
We'll see. I think they got a glimpse of Butterfly Effect. He was going to try and jump in. The forced up to
Quick enough.
reposition, but the Astral as well used defensively. He's going to be okay for the moment. As soon as he pops out, Butterfly Effect is able to blink away. So the OD is still alive, and now Radiant, what can you do? You made this last-ditch attempt to try and get Butterfly Effect. It just wasn't enough. Maybe
They do.
with Killer in pursuit, an aggressive use of the Astral means that the Chakram is enough to cut away the life of the OD. So finally, he'll go down for the first time this game, but Summer's looking for some revenge. TP into the Gleipnir. Couple more swings. Killer's going to be killed off, and Small KK, well, can he do it by himself? The Pulverize enables Summer to reposition. It looks like Small KK is forced to retreat away, or is he? Feels strong. And a man fight, looking to flex his muscles. TZY, but be cautious because the respawns are starting to come out as the Primal Beast will be able to cut away the health pool relatively easily. They'll look to turn to the Clockwork next to get the Vision Fort, the Glimpse back. So in the end, we're able to get a couple of kills. No, well,
What a
oh
chat.
boy.
Power of the Hood, man. Didn't even pop it.
Value Hood.
I think that like goes overwhelmingly well for Cactus if they just have the Doom, right? But instead, 4 staff away. Sorry, if they were able to Doom the OD. But instead, they just get the 4 staffs away, they drop the kinetic field, and I mean, eventually he dies, sure, and it's his first death, so it was a big streak that went over to Small KK, but feels like they lost a lot for what could have been a clean pick-off there.
We saw just how much damage he was able to do, though, right? 5.3k through the whole fight recap for Small KK. So, finding your Fairy's Trinket, Kyron Sanj, level 16, of course, has that Spell Amp talent as well at the 15. So,
It's literally the identical build that Nothing to Say When, except he just got a Blade Mail before it. That's the only issue. And of course, the skill build as well. But everything else, Bottle, Wand, Arcane Boots, Kaya Sanj, and into the Blink Dagger next. It's exactly what he did. But I just feel like there was not enough space made so that this... Doom is still top of the team's net worth, but he's got a Midas and he's got Devour maxed out, right? Most of the time, even if you're in this losing position, he's still like second on net worth on this Doom. That's how crazy this hero is right now.
a lot of it's going to come...
the Drow, right?
Yeah. It's taking quite a hit. It doesn't seem like it's going to get any better for the Drow, though, as the game goes on.
Hit the tower. Hit the tower. Yes.
Nice.
They've taken a tier 1 tower. All right. There's a chance.
Oh. 20% says Dota Plus.
Really, that much? I would have given it like 10.
is under attack.
Well, even 10. We'll see what if they're able to recover, stabilize this game at the moment, because we just got a gem picked up for the Undying. So now with this last tower going down, they're looking to try and set up for the defense though.
Oh, that...
Great rocket flare.
Yeah. Are they going to be able to connect with the Wrath onto that? No, I think plenty of units got hit before.
Is under attack.
This is a very interesting ward placement as well from Ramfu. But oh, TZY pops a BKB in the wrong item slot. Now Butterfly Effect is going to be able to reposition thanks to the Force Up, but over to the higher ground, Smoke KK. Going to be off the mark with the Timber Chain. They're going to be able to glimpse back Jumi, but he's already dropped the Tombstone, so the Undying at least he's done what is required out of the team fight. Now Radiant, they're in full retreat, dancing further. Oh well. TZY is going to be able to get the cleanup onto the tree and protect it. Killer's going to look to get the jump in, but the Astral again. The Doom's got no value. It's all into the Timber to turn the fight around, but Butterfly Effect, the Arcane Orb starting to get the damage going with the Sanities. Down goes their main damage source, and soon they can look to break the formation and go over to Lonfer as well, with the Astral making sure there is no way for him to escape. They'll surround the Drow and kill him off in the end, resulting in a team wipe.
Team wipe, killing spree. Ranfu wasn't able to pop the overgrowth, and I feel like he had multiple opportunities to do so. And that was a fight, remember, that there was a pretty useless BKB used by the Primal Beast. So you knew he was never going to be the one to go in aggressively, but a great hook shot by the Fish King was able to just open that fight up so much for the Nature's Prophet and the OD to go to work.
Like you said, though, at the start, TZY wasn't the greatest use of the BKB, but just the fact that died just... It doesn't matter. They can continue to chase them down. They deal with the T2 tower, so you don't get that.
Look at the HP on Summer, though. Like, he takes out half of his HP off a single Timber Chain, and that's really what I was wanting to see for the past 20 minutes, basically. But it hasn't been able to happen. And now the Nature's Prophet actually has farm, right? He's going into the BKB next. He's very scared of what just happened. Like, he went AC first, but that was just a little bit too close for comfort for him.
And now Butterfly Effect has an Aegis once again. I did not see where the... maybe the Primal got Ag Shot? Yeah, I think so.
The old rock throw. Why? I don't know, but he did. Go for your life. I wouldn't have hated it on the OD, to be honest. It gives additional mana steal to Astral, which is pretty good against a Timber.
Maybe they're just like, look, I don't know. All I know is, again, when you get the Ag Shard, without Ag Shard, if you Astral someone that gets glimpsed, you're not going to be repositioned. With Ag Shard, for some reason, they get repositioned. That's, I don't know if that's enough to warrant him not going for it with the status of this game. Maybe they feel like if they overcommit, then get glimpsed back, we can't save someone. Maybe it's a call. That could be how we potentially throw some of our lead.
I guess. I was more thinking of just being able to slightly reposition with the Doom, but that's very valid. Really getting into the Lincolns on Butterfly Effect. I believe Clock is very close to picking up a Lotus? Or is that a Lotus? I think it might be.
I think so.
So, yeah, really effective against a lot of this stuff that they need to dispel. The silences, even just the Whirling Death stat reduction, going to be very important to remove that. Were you chuckling at something? Oh, this little chase.
Yeah.
It's going to hurl a rock at him.
Do you
He knows.
Come on, do it again. There's not many trees here. Oh, wrong way. He's not going to clear all of them. Are you really? Oh,
enough.
Not him?
Oh, they see the courier.
This is some interesting action we got going on here.
No. Don't give it away. Don't give it away. Oh, he knows.
He's going to clear them all. Surely, you've got trample up, surely. Just do it. He's going to find you.
Run! Oh, they took away the regen amp, but they still got the increased movement speed inside the tree line. That tree, it doesn't have a windlass. I think he dies. Oof, lucky boy.
He's solo smoked. Oh, no.
He wants to get up some deep vision. They want to try and get like this Nature's Prophet when he's farming inside of the deep camp. Especially now that they know that they're not going to have as much potential to fight. Oh,
Revenge!
Revenge!
Revenge! Renfu's like, stop chasing me! TZY should go down a small KK. Yeah, there we go. Whirling Death is out, dude. He's been hot on their tree and protect his tail. It's like, all right, now it's my turn.
Mm-hmm.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
It's a lot pushing top, though. Is Summer going to TP there? No, he's still going to do the safe thing. TP away from the rest of the boys. There was no real indication that they had vision there, but, I mean, the gem on Jumi is going to be able to deal with it, or at least understand that they've got that sort of vision. I mean, this is exactly what you do whenever you've got a net worth advantage, right? You just buy the gem and make it so much harder for them to come back, deny them all of their vision.
What do you think of Butterfly Effect going Revenant's Brooch next, considering the Timberwind Ghost Scepter?
Okay, I like it. You can still attack into the Timber Saw. It's the main counter to it, right? It's nailed up from the Witchblade, which, of course, Odie loves to go. But he's just going to the Scythe of Vice instead, so it feels natural enough to me as well.
Yeah.
You just find that jump. Again, it's a silence as well, so you can... Does it... It doesn't break. No, the reactive armor still happens.
Oh, TZY. Instant use of the Static Storm to cancel the Pulverize, but Killer again's going to use the Doom on a TZY, so he's okay. And now this frees up Butterfly Effect. He's got a double damage rune as well. Another lucky rune for the OD to play with, and they might catch up to small KK. A hook shot, though, to be able to close the distance, so the Timber will be able to reposition, but they're high
TZY's got Blink, though.
Oh, Butterfly. They got the stun on the rock.
30 seconds on Aegis.
Double buyback. Killer's in, hang on, you gotta be cautious. Killer's still got a BKB to work with, I suppose.
They can just back off, you know, 2 buybacks. Very happy to see you guys expend that. Once again, Summer showing why Nature's Prophet is busted, TPs to the other side of the map, farms completely safely, pushes a lane in, makes the treants do a lot of his dirty work, and then he just goes back to the safe farm. He's going to have, of course, because of that Ags, another way to be able to contribute to the fight with the Wrath of Nature. Incoming. Not needing to use it, though. They wanted to play a little bit more passively with the Aegis just being reclaimed. Of course, that means that the OD gets the BKB onto himself. It does mean that you can't Astral yourself, though, if you're getting gone on, if you've got that BKB use. So it's really just, can you force him to use it while allowing the Drow free reign to right-click?
What is she working on as well? Just completed the
Chrysalis.
crit stick?
Okay. Felt like she needed a little bit more damage. Don't hate it. I think they're really just on that, right? Somehow make space for this Drow to freely right-click. So it's going to be, where's the clock? Where's the primal? What can we do to stop them from just straight up running at us? And they've got 3 force stuffs. Got it on Disruptor, Treant, and the Drow herself. So they've got ways to be able to kite it around and make it a lot more difficult for Cactus to actually stick onto a target. It's just going to be a matter of how on the same page are they, and as well as when do you pop your BKB on the Drow. That's going to be a big factor as well, both for reducing the damage from the OD, making sure that you're not locked down by the Nature's Prophet, Aghanim Scepter, and making sure you're not getting pulverized as well by TZY. I think probably save it for the TZY or the OD. If you're just getting rooted, just use Force Staff.
Seems like it's going to be a pretty methodical closeout. Small KK? It's a very aggressive attempt just to maybe get some damage onto TZY. Poker coming though. Killer's going to try and find the angle. Again, the Doom onto the Primal Beast. The response is there though. It's a decent Static Storm, but the BKB is getting activated. Means that Summer and Butterfly Effect can stand strong. Lonfur's going to try and do whatever he can. Now with the BKB expiring, Small KK get the damage out, but the Astral, it's enough to keep Summer alive. All it is, Timber against the world. Summer's going to be able to duke up to the northern side. Butterfly Effect out to the left. Astral up in a couple of seconds as well. Do they want to stand strong, continue to fight this, so they're going to look to reposition?
He just picks his level 25, so Summer's straight back in.
Ult shot. Given the Rampage, but Rampage's like, yeah, nah, I'm out, come on. Oh, that's Tim did buyback recently? When he buy? Oh, he just
Then-
he bought back that fight?
Yep.
Oh my.
Yeah, OD
Okay.
does a lot of damage with that sanities and all the stats that he's been able to pick up.
I didn't even know he bought back.
Did a lot of damage though, like more than double anyone else on his team. They just weren't. You're too far behind. Like I told you the ideal scenario for the Drow to have, and she got a decent amount of damage off in that fight, but they're just too tanky. They were able to close the gap onto her and deal with her, and she's very squishy if you can do that. And they've got multiple heroes that just love to be on top of you. The Clockwork,
Yeah.
the Primal, even the Undying to a lesser extent.
Radiant's bottom tower.
I'm not going to call it quits just yet here for Poke.
Radiant's bottom.
Obviously, Timber 50 seconds. Can they stall till then? The Poke, sorry, to Cactus even consider out going for the Megas?
Yeah, checking if Roche was up first on Summer, of course, with having the no TP cooldown. Makes a lot of sense. I think they could just take this one methodically. Again, it's the first series of the DPC. You want to make sure not to throw an unthrowable game. Some tier 4 items could be useful as well if they're able to keep them outside of their base consistently. Clock has buyback, so he doesn't mind putting his body first.
You know it's rough when the net worth lead is higher than the minute mark.
Oof.
It's the same as their kills as well.
OD is nearly 25, never mind, he is 25. And he's got the Sanity's cooldown, okay.
Interesting.
70 seconds, still quite a long time. Oh, there's a DD right in front of where Roche is about to spawn.
Another one.
Yeah.
A lot of DDs this game.
Radiant
What's going on? Someone over-tweaked the DD spawn percentage?
Man. All right, so if you ever wanted an indication of like how little they've been able to get out onto the map on Poke, have a look at their neutral items.
Oh, hang on. Let's see this. Oh, yikes.
No, not the stash. The stash of neutral items is what I want to look at. So they haven't got 2 out of the 27-minute ones, and they've got none of the tier 4 ones because, well, they're just not in a position to do it. 2 lanes are constantly pushing in, whereas Cactus, they're just like, they got a bonanza, they got a grab bag, they can choose whatever the hell they want. Oh, and they're even killing couriers as well.
Oh, that was Octo.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah. It's pretty important.
Should they really be this concerned about going high gun? I mean, Roche is up. They'll back
Just
up.
take
but
the Roche, you know, what's the harm?
No.
Give it to
What, third
Clockwork,
one?
come on. Boo. Primal Beast. Pfft. I mean, the break's pretty cool against the OD, I guess. Against the Timber.
Let everything else go. Already got Ages, Cheese on Primal as well, it looks like. So, look, a minor thing, but Lonfer now has that real damage item here with the Daedalus.
Level 20 as well,
Doom-
extra multi-shot
Yep.
damage.
And Doom and Timber have been eating up a lot of the damage, but
Can't get caught out, Lonfer.
48,000 net worth lead, it just makes it so much easier for you to play aggressive
TZY 's
onto
hungry.
Lonfer.
He's hungry, look at him. Look at him, he wants to make that jump. Oh,
Even
Jimmy
Jimmy.
would be a nice pick.
And he would. He's able to lead. He's got a BKB?
Yep.
So Jumi's fine, and our Summer just aggressively TPs into the middle of them all. Summer knows no fear. Look at him go. Satanic activated. All the damage instantly repaired. TZY also grabs the Drow before she's able to enter the high ground. And before this one is over, Cactus want to make sure they can secure the wipe. And in clean fashion, they're going to be able to take this game 3 and secure their first series victory of Spring Tour. Beautifully done.
There we go. We got some smiles coming out there from the Fish King, especially. It's an exciting new squad, you know. In that game number 2, probably a little bit underwhelmed, but I feel like that was more of a draft issue, right? They just didn't have ways to be able to play as aggressively as they needed to against this true dual core lineup that Poke was running, and even in the chances that they did, the LC and Snap didn't do it together. This time around, the OD was a great pick. I think they played it amazingly well. They had multiple ways of initiation. They had multiple ways to be able to deal with this Drow Ranger, and they showed why, against them, the Nature's Prophet is a first phase ban.
Puts us in a very interesting position with how Cactus gonna set themselves up for the next couple of series, because at least for me, like one big takeaway is that Cactus look to so far, and something you mentioned as well, just play through butterfly effect. We saw game 1 where they embered at the 8th and he just completely took over. We saw game 2 where they looked to try and play with the Shadowfiend strat and have him carry. And this was kind of similar, like leave his pick all the way to last. So, which I like to see, because again, you're saying this is really their star play for Cactus, so play through him, and he completely shined in this series for them.
Yeah, and it's what we've come to expect from him, right? Like, you sing the praises of him, and for a good reason. Like, the man is a very, very good player. He's, of course, had a lot of that time on academy teams, but it never really has felt like he's had that true shot at the big time, you know, and maybe this is his time. You know, you've got a lot of opportunities against some untried talent in the Div 2, so maybe this is the season that he makes it up and gets promoted to Div 1.
Yeah, well, at least with... They do have to, of course, clean up a couple of those mistakes. We saw the Game 2 draft. There was something experimental without a doubt. I mean, we have not seen Venge 1 in a very, very long time. There were some nice things in that game, but just overall, it wasn't enough. But like you said, if they're able to continue with this, and who knows where they'd be able to get to. But it's still very, very early days overall. And for Poke, you know, there was some great moments for them overall in this series, but unfortunately just not enough to be able to take it. But we do have to give an MVP, Daniel. It's kind of
I'm tempted to give it to the Fish King, but it's butterfly effect.
Fish King? What?
Yeah.
Fish King? How is there even an argument for the clockwork?
I said I'm tempted, but I'm going
sure,
to.
So tempted is like means there's an argument, right?
I feel like his hook shots were pretty on point. Like, he made Drow's life hell consistently. It wasn't all TZY. TZY was the target of a lot of these Dooms, and other than that cogs behind the tier 2 tower bottom, I think Fish King really didn't make too many mistakes this game. Itemization on point, hook shots, like I said, great. It really just enabled the relatively squishy heroes in the OD and the Nature's Prophet to just do what they do best, act as glass cannons.
Yep. And when you've got a lineup to be able to...
Those rockets were pretty on point as well, right?
Yes, that is true. There was a lot of incredible rockets to be able to scout out some of those attempts that Poke were going to defend some of those objectives.
That's right. Fish King's the greatest.
Yes, Fish King is the greatest if we look past what Butterfly Effect was able to do. And honestly, like, you got to be hoping that Butterfly Effect's going to have a game like this, considering you last pick his hero. So you save it to the end, and he definitely proves that he is a player that can shine with a 24th pick. So we are done and dusted for our first series. But then we got another series. We got another one coming up shortly. It's going to be Meteor up against Lonely Rock and Roll. So again, we saw Meteor in the previous tour where they were just able to avoid those tiebreakers as well. They've got a bit of a new addition in their roster with Echoes coming in, who was previously on that Outsiders from China roster. And then, of course, their opponent in Lonely Rock and Roll has some players that people would be familiar with, but we didn't see them in the last tour. So it's going to be exciting to see how they're able to match up against each other.
Yeah, for sure. We'll have to see, though. We got a little bit of a break first until that game starts, and I'm sure it's going to be a banger. Again, old versus new. We'll see who comes out on top, and we'll send it to a break. Get some food, get some water. Shouldn't be too long.
Watch more, earn more. Full TV.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We've got our second series getting underway very shortly. Down two fresh new teams looking to make their debut here in the Spring Tour. We're going to have Meteor Gaming taking on Lonely Rock and Roll. It's a pretty good name.
It's a
pretty
mouthful,
good name. I
though.
got it. It is a mouthful, which is a bit of an issue. And LNR, I don't like it. LNR, don't know.
What do you think about their profile pictures, though? I'm just seeing weeb going down the list.
I'm seeing like 9, 8. There's a lot of weird profile pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Look, each to their own. I don't know. I like the top ones.
Even the team name. And these names, though. Big Can. I'm just going to call him Real One, even though it looks like just real. 4 Ys, not just the innocents. Went how? All right, pretty normal. And Bocce. I wonder if that's at all related to anime stuff. Because, like, Bocce the Rock is a recent anime that just came out about, like, a rock band with girls as the people. I haven't watched it, but apparently it's good.
Far out, man. How deep are you in this? Jesus.
I said I haven't watched it.
You're watching anime with crazy stuff going on as well. We don't even have to get into the other ones.
Okay, no, they're all normal. All right, let's get that straight. Let's not get it twisted here. I don't watch that sort of stuff, but you know, when you watch a Dota on one monitor, you can have stuff on the other monitor, or you can read it during the downtime, the manga and stuff. It's normal, you know. And I play other games too.
What games have you been playing right now? What are you playing? What are you enjoying?
Bit of WoW. What's the other main one? Bit of Raft. Sons of the Forest. Crab Champions just came out. I want to play that one with some of the boys. It's like, you play Risk of Rain or Risk of Rain 2?
Is Risk of Rain the... No, I don't think I have. Risk of Rain. Which one's this?
Yeah, it's like a over-the-shoulder sort of thing where you pick a class, like Commando or Engineer or something, and then you just put into this randomly generated world, and then you got to kill things to make the boss happen, and as you keep going through, you get like power-ups and stuff. It's a good game. But basically, Crab Champions is that kind of like gameplay in terms of like behind the shoulder, you're shooting stuff around, and it's like co-op multiplayer. So seems good.
It's always fun to have a couple co-op games to play with the brothers. You get involved, a little bit of banter back and forth. Always
I'm sure I'll
enjoyable.
get my invite to the Aries game night sometime soon.
That's funny. That's really cute. It's not going to happen. You're not cool enough.
Wow.
And I think my school
I
friends
see you play
would
Apex
bully
Legends.
you.
I see you
They
play
would.
Apex Legends without me.
I solo queue. Do you like Ape? You don't seem much of a battle royale person yourself.
Nah, it's fine. I used to play PUBG when it first came out, and Apex is fine.
What about Fortnite?
No. Trash.
No, well, it was a good game at the start.
No.
It was. Let's give it its respect.
The best game is Dota. Let's start with that. And we've got... I mean, what other games have really stood the test of time over this far? As we actually get into the players playing in this series. Oh, we get to keep him. For Meteor Gaming, of course, Echo. What are the discards, I guess you could call them, from outside of some... He was kicked, man. What do you want me to say? He was kicked from the team. I'm just spitting facts. That's all it is.
Yeah, but I feel like you could have said it a little bit better. The discard, just discarded from the team. The trash, easily
I never said
disposed.
trash. I never said trash. I said he was discarded from the team.
Yeah, but it's good enough.
It is good enough, and I'm going to keep it that way. So, yeah. What's your next point?
What an addition, though, is
Yes.
Echo. So we've seen him on CDEC. Of course, he had that stint on eHome as well. They didn't have as much success as definitely what they were hoping with that roster. And he looked pretty good on Outsiders for China. Unfortunately, not good enough for that 5-man last tour to be promoted. Yes.
Well, technically they were, but they didn't know it at the time. So yeah. Also, I think maybe discard is a slightly harsh way of putting things because he was playing, and then XM, who normally plays mid, moved to the position 1, and now XM is playing mid again, considering they got Fly in. So maybe it was just a thing of, look, we rate XM slightly higher than you, so we're just going to go with him, and we just can't fit you into the team, you know? But they still did choose XM over him, so discarded, get it out of there.
Discarded, get out of there. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they're able to fit in. Of course, Meteor Gaming in the previous tour, we saw them in the tiebreakers that we mentioned that Poke played in as well. So they were just narrowly able to stick around. They still have 4 out of the 5 members, and some of those in particular, we were very impressed with the support duo, I think, on Meteor. Like Marblu, in a lot of the games, you know, we saw him pretty consistently on the Tiny, and he was, you know, making a lot of plays on that hero.
A lot of it was his Ricky, though, and Ricky was just kind of busted.
That's very true.
So it was, yeah. I'm keen to see what he's able to do now that, you know, obviously we've highlighted the Tiny. Ricky support really doesn't seem to be a hero. Apparently it's a mid hero now. So if they start to target him with some Tiny bans in the first phase, what's he going to play? I think his other main one was the Snapfire that he had decent success with. So we'll see what he's able to do.
Yeah, and you know, I guess their opposition, Lonely Rock and Roll, you have some familiar names as well. Maybe the more familiar out of all of them is Doodle, the carry. So it's someone who's played on Invictus Gaming for a little bit, had some stints with IG Vitality as well, so I'm sure he's had his run through with the likes of Butterfly Effect. They also have their position 2 897, who played a little bit on eHome in 2019. So they do definitely have some star power with them. It's just another question, like, how is this newly formed 5-man able to, you know, build together and kind of cement if they've got that chemistry already?
Yeah, you got to make sure that, like, what's he actually been playing as well, right? Because a lot of people think that players like vary massively in terms of their actual effectiveness, when a lot of the times it can just be like, what's in the meta right now, and it doesn't happen to fit your playstyle, right? Either that, or there's like some massive team chemistry upgrade that happened, whether it's from a coach or like a hard team chat, or maybe you even just substitute out one player and for a new one, and then that's the big thing that you need to take the next step up. So it's not always just who is the best player, because we've seen like Samael, arguably even today, people say he's one of the best mid laners in the world, and he's in Div 2. So, you know, that's it just goes to show the importance of everything else surrounding the individual.
Is the meta point enough, though? Because it feels like
we've been on this meta for a while.
Well, that, but I mean, like, does it come down to just the individual not learning different heroes? Are you a little bit stuck in your ways? If the meta changes and you don't have your best heroes available, does it come down to you now to learn this new meta, learn to play a little bit differently? If it's an offlaner meta that, you know, it's your Blink initiators, your Axe, your Centaur. Now it comes down to your micro heroes. You know, yes, there's comfort. I mean, you think about Amar, loves his comfort, but then if you don't look to change, does that come down to the player, or can you just bank on the meta swapping?
It's so hard to make like a comparison to anything else, because Dota's just so complex and versatile, right? Like if I was using it in tennis, it's like going from a topspin serve to a slice serve. You can still probably do it, but it's not going to be at the same extent as something that you've perfected over years and years and years. So obviously tennis meta doesn't really change as much as, you know, Dota is, but that's sort of the same concept that I'm looking for. And well, looks like the odds at least are favoring the newbies. What do you reckon? Just based off the name, maybe?
Yeah, look, I'm going to slightly favor Meteor just because this is a lineup that I've seen and I haven't seen the newbies. So it's as simple as that. It's just how they're able to play together. I mean,
can I tell you one thing? So I had a quick look through the open qualifier games. Open or closed? One of the two. Closed qualifier games. And these guys beat Cactus in 15 minutes in one of their games. They did lose to like Piggy Killer and all that, like the more experienced ones 2-0, but 15-minute win is pretty impressive.
15-minute win is very impressive. I'm looking at that game as well.
There was nothing like massive push about it either.
No, there wasn't. They had a Storm, Dawn, Ursa, I believe, is their core trio. Looks like
some lane dominators though.
That is true. That is true. So we'll see. They were able to make it in that 5th place as one of the qualified teams. Of course, we had 6 teams to be able to qualify through the closed qualifiers.
Out of 8. You got to feel bad for 7 and 8, but they did it in the fairest way as well. They did it Swiss format, which I really hope we see a little bit more of Swiss in terms of like... Are you familiar with the format?
Not really, no.
So basically,
Would you like to
let's
explain it?
say you got 8 teams. You seed them based off of some sort of metric. And then like first plays 8th, yada, yada, yada. And then after the first round, the winners play the winners, the losers play the losers. And then the next round after that, win-win plays each other, win-loss plays each other, loss-win plays each other, loss-loss plays each other. So it's basically you get more even matches throughout the thing. So you can never say, oh, we just got really unlucky and we were in our double elimination bracket, we played the 2 best teams or something like that, you know? Makes a lot of sense.
Which has always been kind of the argument with how some of the elimination brackets are set up and some of the groups are set up as well. So
It's like the sweet spot between round robin, which is just play everyone, and double elimination, which is you could potentially be out playing 2 series. This is, you're going to play at least however many they want to set it as. I think it depends on the size of the tournament. So
I wonder why they did Swiss now, because
there's 6 teams that you got to fit in, you know, like it's...
Yeah.
Probably just that, I would say.
Yeah, it's a good enough reason. Just to update everyone as well, we were having some issues with some earphone problems and some keyboard problems. Look like that one is all sorted, so hopefully we're going to be able to get ourselves underway pretty shortly here for our 2nd series.
How's your keyboard? Stained with tea, or you all good?
Looking a bit grubby, but it's not too bad.
Okay, well,
I did clean it recently, but it just gets pretty dirty again.
You are a filthy person, so I understand.
I'm really not. In fact, when I stayed in the hotel with you, I was super clean, and your side was really messy. But
it was not
that's
messy.
Okay.
The only thing messy about me was my snoring. So
I don't know. It was pretty messy. Anyway, all right. We don't have to continue to throw the under the bus. We got a draft underway. All right. Lonely Rock and Roll are going to be on the Radiant side. We got Media Gaming on the Dire side. Media, they're going to be playing with first pick overall. Once again, Nature's Prophet, Broodmother banned out in the first phase, and then for Lonely Rock and Roll, we got the Enchantress and the Death Prophet.
So the thing that really strikes me about Meteor Gaming is that I feel like they've got a really good idea of like what they think is good and they're just going to pick and ban entirely based off that. It's not even necessarily a synergy sort of thing. It's just like, we value these 10 heroes higher than anyone else in the game, and so we're going to pick them. I think they really want to pick a Beastmaster here, because I think that's their most successful hero by far, but I think Lonely Rock and Roll have done their homework. If you're playing a Beastmaster into a Mirana, very easy to get rid of the boars. And also Doom means that you can't go this Helm of the Overlord build because they're just going to get devoured. It's still going to do it though. Maybe you can just go into this Axes build instead and look to try and counter it. Maybe we see a Drums of Slom. Any chances? It is a good pairing with a Disruptor though. Glimpse back off the back of the Hawk Vision.
Yeah, Disruptor very much loves to be able to have that vision advantage, so you got the combo. Now you can look to even protect the Beastmaster even more. They ban out the Crystal Maiden, so
I think they're just going to Mirana 5, man. Like,
yeah.
What's the point? It's a bit of a wasted ban in my eyes. I would be looking to get rid of stuff that gets on the Disruptor personally. Something like Ember would be pretty decent.
A very good Ember game. Ember Mirana combination together is always very potent.
Yep.
More than likely,
we're going to see a lot as well. What else is there?
Radiant team ban. Dire team ban.
I mean, there are other two that they really look to go back to the well for. Nature's Prophet and Death Prophet, combined together with Treant Protector. which both would be great with this Beastmaster. Gives you some really fast tempo, and Treant is still pretty good overall, especially into a Doom. You're able to, again, melee hero, use that Leech Seed, feels really nice. So I think that's really just what they're banning out. They're banning out a lot of these range cores on Lindley Rock and Roll to prevent that from being as big of a factor. Is there even, like, other than Sniper, is there anything that they can pick that's like range that pairs together well with the
Radiant team pick.
with the Dream Protector? Probably not, other than maybe like a Morphling. But I'm not sure if you want a Morphling into this.
Looks like you were right though. More than likely going to be that Murano's the 5. They go down the Hoodwink route. So, I mean, Hoodwink Doom is something we've seen Tundra run to great success.
Oh, please. Oh, goddamn, I was so close. The Rubik feels kind of nice. Have they been running Hoodwink lately, though, on Tundra?
No, not a whole lot, but I just... It's always a team that you see Doom Hoodwink come out, like they win a lot of these lanes. So it is a great laning duo. Can put a decent chunk of pressure onto the Morphling early on, but I think once Morph's able to find some levels, he should have a pretty good time down in his safe lane. What do we look at the 18? So probably more than likely, you wanting a carry here, considering you see your offlaner and your carry matchup?
I would say so. I mean, I'm just trying to think like what they want to play into this Morphling too. Like, probably something range that likes building a Skadi, but a lot of those heroes are gone. Could you Naga here? I wouldn't hate Naga, just because Morphling really, with the Ags, doesn't hurt you as much as a lot of the other Agi heroes. Does a decent job of resetting against the Beast. I think it's decent, but again, if the Beastmaster's already going the Whirling Axes build, it feels kind of meh, you know? Like, you don't have the greatest... You like it? Then it's definitely not that then. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, what the hell?
Okay, cool. It makes sense, right? Like, they just want to block off the main avenue that they're going to be able to play around with this Morphling. There's no real amazing targets for the Morph either anymore. So, like, yeah, the Doom really doesn't feel all that effective. Hoodwink, probably not. It's basically Mirana might be the target, right? Just so you have the leap for a little bit more of this this mobility in team fights. So what do they need? They need tempo. You got 2 greedy cores, 2 supports that are able to do a lot of damage, but you need the lockdown to be able to provide that. So for me, they've actually banned out the Ember themselves, but I guess it's into the Naga Siren, so it makes a lot of sense. Some kind of reliable stun. Tiny's gone, Storm's gone, Ember's gone. Puck, you could still move around, so it's not as easy. They ended up banning it out anyway. So what do you even go now? Like a DK? I don't know. I think it's going to depend on what Meteor pick for their mid laner as well.
It might be a bit greedy, but I feel like Radiant can consider about an OD. So it has very good core matchups, and it sets up pretty nicely for the Murano. Astral defensively once again versus the Raw, kind of versus the Glimpse can be nice.
Very greedy though.
That's the thing. It is very greedy. You're going to be putting a lot of emphasis on your supports to combine together, and honestly, they don't really play too well together in itself.
So if Meteor go a slow-ish mid laner, then I think you can get away with it. Because if you're only having to worry about the Beastmaster, then you're like, all right, fine, we can do it. But if it's anything that's able to get active with like a couple of items, like Conquer a little bit, I guess, but Conquer into OD doesn't feel great either. But you know what I mean, right? Just stuff that's able to do a lot with not much. Then I think they might be in a tiny bit of trouble.
Radiant team pick.
So there's not a lot left for Meteor as well. They're going to go down that Pango route, so...
I don't think you can afford to do it anymore.
No, I don't think so either. So Pango, of course, very nice to be able to address the Naga. They didn't have a lot of AoE control as well, so that's where the Pango is definitely going to be able to help kind of fill out that weakness they had prior.
10 seconds remaining.
A lot of people rate Pango as literally the #1 hero of this patch, so
yeah,
kind of surprising to see it last until the very last phase here. I mean, at least Naga Siren is eventually going to be able to get the Aghanims if she wants to be able to go into this, and okay, Quap, you could still do some damage into the Rolling Thunder, which feels kind of nice. Bit of a lane dominator. And you're a bit of a tempo setter, right? You're not necessarily like that reliable stun, but it just means that you're going to be looking to play around the Hoodwink a lot more, as opposed to the other way around, Hoodwink playing around the Quap.
Such a volatile hero, though. You can have a good game and you can have a bad game as well for the Queen of Pain. There is, I think BKB is going to be really when he's feeling super safe against the Rolling Thunder and against the Disruptor, but it's not a free game. Like you've got an instant stun in the Rubik Telekinesis, which is really the big thing you're looking at, and sometimes Disruptor can be an issue as well. So for me, I don't know, Queen of Pain, if you die a couple times, really there's like a death quota. You die over 4 times, your game's just gone, and even sometimes 2 times is just enough for you to not have the impact that you're requiring. But importantly, it's going to have a good lane versus the Pango. You're going to prove to be an issue. Like you said, Pango is arguably one of the best heroes right now in the meta, so the fact that at least he's going to have a tricky lane matchup should be something that they can bank on for Radiant.
Should feel good. Yeah, absolutely. I wonder what sort of build the Pango is going to go as well. Feels kind of value to just go this Aghanim Scepter, Diffusal, Basher build, right? You're going up against and Maelstrom, I guess, as well, right? You need something. They don't have any amazing way to deal with the Naga illusions yet at this point. So Pango needs to kind of address that somewhat. So I feel like the Maelstrom is going to be that sort of thing. Diffusal, great against the entire lineup, and of course Basher needed to be able to lock down this Naga and the Quap especially. Yep. Who are you favoring?
I don't know. I think I like the Meteor's draft. I think the Pango helps with their issues versus Naga, which they didn't really have a way to address that. So I think I'll slightly favor Meteor, but again, like it's just, can this Queen of Pain take over or not? Well, I don't know. We'll find out. How do you feel about this draft? Do you feel like there is a side that's even favored heading out of it, or do we have a pretty even draft between the two?
It's going to come down to the individual play, right? Like, I think I like the Meteor Gaming draft overall. I feel like they've got potential for pickoffs. They've got good team fight. They've got tower siege. They've got stuns. They've got, somewhat save in the form of like Rubik if he goes the telekinesis. I think he's building into a Greaves as well. So like plenty of stuff. They've got it good across the board, but if you're able to get this Nagasar in a farm and this Quap crushes the Pango lane, then it very quickly skews in Lonely Rock and Roll's favor.
So pretty much we're just looking at the lanes. That's what you feel like is
especially
really
mid. Oh, the deny. Who's going to get it?
30 seconds.
Easy.
Easy D-Ward.
Yeah, they're even going to get rid of their own. Not making the same mistake as, well, maybe it will. Molasses. He's not going to see it. Hold on.
Yes.
Is Molasses mid? No, okay. He was just positioning himself there for a second. I was thinking, can they get away with this and just use like wild axes to secure a lot of these last hits instead of having the Quap there? But I think the levels on Quap is too important. On Pango is too important. Actually, Thunderstrike as well. Level 1 on TZ.
And no mangoes. I saw Seller in some of his games, actually. I think game 1 might have been in that tiebreaker. He went the Thunderstrike with a couple mangoes, though, which he doesn't currently have. What did he buy with his gold? He's got a mango and a cell coming out. Okay, so at least one to be able to help out a little bit with the spam. You're more favoring that Glimpse level 1 at the moment, though, that we're seeing out of the Disruptors?
I mean, it's just so mana efficient, right? 70 mana to do essentially the same damage as what Thunderstrike does, and it has such great utility as well. Maybe they're just thinking, look, with a Morphling, it's not necessarily like a kill lane. So, if you had something with a stun or even a slow, you might be able to get away with an early kill off the back of the Glimpse, but with Morphling, you need to play a little bit more passive, and it's just about harassing from afar. Don't really want to fight into a Hoodwink either. So annoying.
Because this is a really good lane for the side of Radiant. Hoodwink Doom, level 3, I'm probably looking at them starting to get pretty aggressive onto TZ. It's going to come down to a lot on the Disruptor's position. I think if you can zone out the Disruptor, like, what is he going to do in this game? I don't know if you can really look to make any plays on the opposite side of the map. There's not much you can really do to help out mid as well. So I think if you're able to get a couple kills on him, then TZ might have a bit of an awkward early start on how he can have some impact as a 5.
He's been doing a good job so far. Basically, his job right now is just distract them from hitting the Morphling, get a little harass off whenever you can through the use of the Iron Branches. And he's also done a really important thing against the Doom in blocking up the hard camp with the Sentry Ward and body blocking his own small camp. So Doom isn't going to get off any of these Devours. I want to see him rotate back to that small camp right now.
Oh, he went Infernal Blade. The Doom, even with that little bit of damage, it might be enough when how. Trying to chase him down. Has he got the movement speed to catch up, though? It looks like he does. Thunderstrike, helping TZ be able to get the self. Or when House able to land the Bushwhack, but he's got to be cautious. He's taking up a little bit of damage from the Kree wave. He's going to be okay.
And of course, Gaben is going to punish him by spawning the Harpy camp as the small camp. So, you know, if he does go over there with that Devour, he'll be like, thank you very much. I'll be taking that Stormcrafter for myself. I want to see if TZ looks to prioritize making a pull happen, even if it's just a single pull, just to at least get rid of the Stormcrafter. You can leave the Scout. Man, remember that meta? Harpy Scout meta?
Oh, God. Yeah, no, I did not remember
Now
that,
I've just brought it all back to you.
Oh, no. That was such a boring stage of Dota. Oh, my God.
See everything. Nothing they can do about it. Never runs out of mana.
Thank God that's not a thing anymore. Top lane, TZ, will be first blood. Gonna probably trade his life as the adaptive strike from Triple M comes through. Triple M, sorry, Quarter M. Juicy. We got double, quad Y. I don't know why I'm saying triple, double. What's going on? 4 Ys, 4 Ms?
Sometimes one's not enough.
Nor 2, nor 3. Just need all the letters you can get.
TZ's doing it. TZ is literally not even doing the pull. He's just like, kill the Stormcrafter. I'm going to use Thunderstrike on it as well.
Huge.
There we go.
Well, neutral can just be a lane winning neutral. Dude, Big Can is he's going to chase down. They're even going to glyph the Kree wave as well. You'll be able to dispel off some of the Axis stacks, but still the damage, it's enough. Yeah. Marbly will just get the right click, and now they're going to be able to drag the wave, so the next dire wave will go all the way under the tower. Oh, no, they don't aggro, actually. Never mind. Regardless, though, still goes under, and Naga's going to miss a full wave here.
Are we calling him real or real one? I really want to call him real one.
It's real. I'm saying real. It's
all right. Well, he's a real one. That's all I know. And he's doing a pretty good job in this mid lane. I mean, he's 400 net worth ahead of the Pango, keeping him relatively low on the levels, about half a level ahead right now. I think he'll stay 2 points Shadow Strike, pretty standard for the Quops these days, just to bully in lane, but not hinder your own net worth too much, because it is going to be important for him to have that burst damage against the Morphling. I wonder how early he goes into the Aghanim Shard as well. Wasn't expecting that.
Whoa.
What even just happened? Was it just
I think it looked like from the fight recap it was Infernal into Bushwhack.
Okay.
So somehow 0.6 caught him off guard. Okay. Well, that's a big kill for them to find. And off to a great start. It's going to enable this Hoodwink to look to make a rotation. Echoes, they saw that he used the Swashbuckle already mid, so he won't have this to reposition, and he might be in some trouble now. Oh no, they broke the shield crash. When the hell? What is this man doing to him?
He's doing a great job. I mean, all that rotation's coming through. Also, just with that movement, it scouts out like, all right, are there any camps that we need to make sure that the Doom doesn't get? And there isn't anything amazing, right? There's no Satyr camp unless it's right next to the Dire Tier 2 tower. So I think they're very, very happy with that. The entire jungle is not good for the Doom to steal right now, so he's just going to have to stick to lane creeps. You know, the other kind of nerf to the Doom that happened lately, it's the targeting the Enigma nerf, basically. Leveling up the range creeps to level 5 means that he can't devour range creeps now at level 1 Doom. Has to wait for that level 2 devour. Gets a siege creep instead.
Real? Oh, I don't know. Does he die? Thunderstrike not going to be enough. Real is going to be okay. They sold the regen though, so the Queen of Pain's going to have to go all the way back to base. So this will give at least Echoes a little bit of time to get some catch up. Importantly, it's probably going to get him that level 6, at least close enough before some extra pressure.
Well, indeed. Actually, an early-ish port. What the hell just happened? I think there was some sort of creep that was just moving in front of Bocce right there, so they weren't able to get the ensnare into the arrow combination onto Molasses. So big deal, letting this this Beastmaster just continue to get those levels. Now he's got 3 points into the Wild Axes, so plenty of ways to just keep this Naga somewhat controlled in the lane, but she's still picking up the farm for now.
And again, he's bringing Wen out to a different lane as well. I'm going to try and close the distance onto Molasses, but use of the telekinesis from Marblu are going to be okay for the moment. So, do you like kind of... We saw the Hoodwink get that kill mid prior, but afterwards we're continuing to see him play on the... play away from the Doom lane. Do we like this?
Hold on. Speaking of the Rubik, he's getting jumped on a little bit here, and he probably is going to get burst down. With that stack and Starfall coming through, can Molasses commit onto this with the second point in the Wild Axis? He's thinking about it. Not quite. What, you're thinking he just needs to keep the Doom away as much as possible? And
no, I'm just... Lane, are they going to go for this? Just a little poke and prod. Hoodwink might go down. He's being such a nuisance, though.
Oh,
Arrow's going to fly on past, but real...
double.
Lancer Sonic Wave, no hesitation out of Queen of Pain, finds a great opening for that first ultimate of the game, and he's hoping for the power rune as well. He's going to be able to find it. Might even look to utilize it straight away. Is now Marblu is the next on the chopping block. Yes, they'll miss the bushwhack, but it's not going to matter. It's only delaying the inevitable as Marblu... Oh my god. Dude, went out. This guy's balling out. 7 out of the 8 kills. Doesn't even need to play in the Doom lane. He's still getting a bunch out of it solo.
And I mean, there's they've been doing a really good job on Meteor of making sure that the Doom hasn't got anything good to devour, but luck just so happened to spawn a Sadia camp inside of their own ancient area. So Doom was able to go back, get that mana burn creep, and well, now life is a little bit more challenging for the Morphling. You can't even just go back into the lane, right? Because if he tries to last hit, he'll get the Scorched Earth onto his face, and you won't have the the waveform to be able to get away from that lane. So he's already been pushed back to the jungle. This is some really good early game play by Lonely Rock and Roll.
Yeah. Do see, though, with the Doom being solo versus the Morphling, Morph has got a 500 net worth lead. But really, it's the other lanes that are taking a huge hit. The Painkiller is so far behind the Queen of Eight. About 1,200 gold difference between them. So Echoes is going to be forced to try and look to get involved with his Rolling Thunder, try and find an angle back into this game. And we'll see if they can secure the kill onto the Doom. He's got some heroes playing behind him at the moment. Bushwhack's going to be off the mark. Still, they'll look to turn it back around with the use of the Doom, but Morphling, he was able to find that attribute shift, so there won't be a rebuttal from the boys on Radiant.
It was even just the small things about like when they actually made that rotation through. The phase boots had just expired on the Doom, so he wasn't able to get away as quickly as he might have liked. They're going to be able to get another quick cleanup kill onto the Mirana as well. So nicely done by them, but more importantly, it just frees up this top lane for Morphling to get some more of this unopposed farm.
So he's going to be working into the Lincolns as that first item here for the Morphling, so looking to heavily address the Doom. I guess the Ensnare and potential Orchid to come out as well.
Nicely done by Echo as well. He was almost bushwhacked as he picked up that DD rune, but very quick on the fingers, using the Quelling Blade, making sure that wasn't going to happen. And now with a bunch of these stacks that have been formed up, the team is rallying around him, basically saying that, look, the lane might not have gone so well for you, but you've got maxed out Swashbuckle, you've got this DD rune now as well, so we can very easily look to give you a bit more of a lane. Or farm,
can he find the angle? Oh, nicely done. They even sung as well, but regardless, they're going to be able to kill. Bocce was able to find that angle to be able to cancel Beastmaster's TP out, so 3 heroes going to be forced to rotate bottom. We do see mid lane what's going on. Echoes try and shove it out with the help of the double damage rune to get some pressure onto the T1 tower.
Well, indeed, they've got that Orb of Corrosion as well, so reduced armor on this tower. Someone's going to need to get back here pretty quickly, but well, 3 of them used TPs recently, so well, at least they'll get rid of the siege creep. Is this going to be enough? No. Just letting off that sharpshooter a little bit too late.
Dire's top tower has fallen. Dire's bottom bottom tower is under
That's a huge win though. Doom, a hero that doesn't usually take objectives too early on. Echo's mid lane, Sonic Wave, but the turnaround from TZ will drop the Static Storm. There's no one really nearby
Nice
to
arrow.
follow up, but Marblu's still with the arrow. Gonna find the connection, and when how glimpse back inside the river as well. Marblu not gonna be able to find the angle for the bushwhack. Looks like Hoodwing's gonna be okay, but that's a huge kill for them to find, with the Queen of Pain was 5-0 before that death, so TZ is gonna get a nice little streak.
Probably the last person you actually wanted to give it through to, but you know what, we'll take it. Of course, needing the Static Storm, landed onto 3 as well, but really it was Marblu once again. Bit of the star of that that movement coming through. And now you've got a Helm of the Dominator to be able to play around with on Molasses. So again, it feels like he needs to play very defensively with this. He doesn't really want to be making too many pushes happen. Actually just looking to walk up into this area.
Oh, they
take
saw
away some
Sharpshooter.
stacks.
They might be able to use it in this team fight. Marblu's charging it up. Meanwhile, Echoes as well. The stun lock's going to be perfect for the follow-up damage, and Doom, he'll chuck out his ultimate, but it's just going to provide them 0 value. As Media Gaming, they're already looking for more. The Morphling utilizing the Hurricane that was devoured prior, so when how drag back closer, is he going to go for the waveform? Lose the Sisters D. When how duking and jiving, another out of the bushwhack will keep him alive, but regardless, Dyer gets some much needed kills.
Oh, for sure. And again, like I was saying, you can't really afford to be the pusher as the Beastmaster in this situation. He just needs to sit back. He needs to play selfish for the next little bit. He needs to build up into, well, will he go Helm of the Overlord, you reckon? I mean, you've kind of committed to it with the Helm of the Dominator plus the Vladimir's offering, but as soon as Doom hits up onto that level 15, then it doesn't feel anywhere near as good. Don't know. I would rate Doom as like the second best counter to this sort of Beastmaster build. So rather than going just full auras, like it's not really a Wraith Pact game though. So
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
I guess
We're still gonna...
he's going to commit once he understands the tempo of the game, I guess.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
When how? Smoke's gonna pop. Still looking to try and turn around. Echoes actually eats the combo, and as a result, Real's gonna jump in. More than happy with dropping the combo to secure another double kill off the back of his ultimate, and now Doom, he's ready to get into the midst of it all as well. A little bit hesitant though, with the stuns already being used prior, so they won't be able to close the distance, but in the end, right, only Rock and Roll able to find still 2 kills.
Still somehow clips onto the boar with the arrow. I mean, it's a little bit of a difficult situation still for Lonely, right? Like, they don't have anyone that's going to be able to... Got an arrow? No arrow to be able to hit the Helm Dom creep. They will get rid of the Hawk, though. But it's a bit of an aberration that they were even able to get that top tower just because of how well Doom had played that lane. I'm seeing some troubles with them trying to get more than this.
Echoes. It's pretty aggressive, and he's got to be cautious. Yes, at the kill onto When How. Doom's ultimate is back up. He'd love Echoes, but he's not going to mess around. Wanting to use the Rolling Thunder early on to protect himself. He'll do a quick U-turn to slam away the life of the Doom. So, well, we're in a pretty back and forth game. Brady got a couple kills, and Dyer got a couple of kills, and, well, this time, Media going to be rewarded with that Tier 1 tower going down as well.
They are, and they're really just looking to try and get this game solved before the game gets too far out of control. Like, Naga Siren, she's going to be almost unbeatable in this late stage of the game. Pango's going for the defusal, really realizing that, look, we want to try and make this as quick as possible. The Disruptor is going for a drums. The Rubik is going for a mech. The Morphling is going first item Lincolns. Like, this is stuff that you do.
They're going to be perfect with the chain control, and that's where Molasses is able to come into play. Once again, with the Queen of Pain getting shut down, slowing down this BKB timing here from the co-op.
It's the important hero that you got to take away, right? He is, once again, the pace setter.
And well, still got another fight breaking out. Gonna be cautious here. Doom's gonna try and find an opening with the ultimate, but hesitant about using onto the Morphling considering he's protected with the Lincoln, so We do a couple of supports getting killed off across the map. Can they pop the Lincolns? There we go. It's got enough time to be able to react away from.
I just got Manta now, though. They've got a big increase in teamfight effectiveness coming through. Even just the split push as well. Oh, going for the blind. Oh, he was trying to find TZ.
One thing I even saw with the item build from Big Can, very interesting. Seems like maybe a personal thing going this Void Stone. Seen a
Just
lot
for
of
the
the
regen,
Nagas.
not a
Yeah,
Bassi.
seen a. I think that's really the main one that we see, right? Was the Bassi. Of course, the Void Stone's going to be built into that Orchid, but I'm really
Makes
seeing
sense.
it. Yeah.
Not as effective for the lane, of course, considering you get it a lot later than the Bassi, but still feels nice.
Yes. So it's interesting to see kind of these little unique.
I guess the other
preferences
thing is
from-
that he's
from
not
players.
like he's not playing with the rest of the team as well, so you don't need like the Bassi aura coming through. It's just purely for yourself, and so feels a little bit better in that regard.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Well, he is having such an incredible time though at finding a farm. On top of the net worth. A decent shot mid lane, meanwhile. More kills occurring around this area of the map. Both sides don't know how to stop. So all the action breaking out, 26 kills, 17 minutes in, and now with that kill onto the Mirana, they're maybe looking to put some pressure down bottom. Helm of the Overlord here with Molasses, has got that ancient Black Dragon.
Yeah, so they got 5 levels on the Doom where this is going to have effectiveness, and they don't have a glyph to be able to combat this. So really what I'm assuming Meteor are going to be looking to go for is look to try and take the mid tower next, force them to pop the glyph. That enables us to go high ground off the back of potentially Roshan, and this is all stuff that can happen before Doom reaches that level 15 mark. It's actually going to be forced back.
Hoofies.
He's just forced to... He's forced to be greedier than he wants to be as well. Like, he just needs these levels. Range creeps are too valuable to just let go by the wayside, so instead of staying inside the jungle, he gets the creep wave, which is so much more value. The only thing more value than a creep wave for experience is an ancient camp.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
See, with all that, he was able to find down bottom 11 and a quarter here. And a couple more Midas usages will see him being able to find those levels very, very shortly. Another item, though, is that Orchid that we were kind of mentioning before with the Naga Siren. So he might feel a little bit more comfortable about getting involved in some of the fights. Marblue. Beautiful arrow once again. Solon is able to find
It's not really something that you expect to come out as a Mirana, right? So with that, they do indeed, and they actually pop the glyph. Okay, and are they going to be able to... I mean, the next creep wave is right here, so I think they're very satisfied with this. They can look to take the mid tier 2 and then potentially go down towards bottom. I don't know if I would want to wait.
Meanwhile, actually, bottom lane, yeah, Doom.
Yep.
Once again with the arrow combination. Big Can a little bit too late to protect. They stole the
Stolen
song.
Oh,
Marblue now. Wait, what?
They're chasing each other with singing.
Radiant's middle tower.
What did I just see?
What do you mean?
If he... I'm so confused. If Naga's singing and Marblue's singing...
How are
they
they
both
both
don't-
being hit? I don't know. Cast range, does that affect the radius? I don't think it does.
I'm sure he was in range to sleep him. I'm not sure, actually, but I thought he was.
You know, the most disappointing thing about this all is that when Rubik steals it, it's not Rubik singing. It's still like the Naga sound.
Oh, so they should add something into...
Yeah, like,
Okay.
like, you know,
Oh,
Rubik
okay,
sounding.
that was...
Oh, arrow.
There it goes. ETR, they don't have detection though. I have no idea who was
got
the
a
one
blink
that
dagger,
tanked
though.
the arrow. Now Echoes, yeah, he's wanting to get in the middle of it all. Finds an opening here for the Hoodwink, just blows him up, and now they've also glimpsed
They
back
got Naga
Deacon.
with no song.
And without the song, how is he going to be able to escape? Molasses is able to hold him into place thanks to the